his knowledge of.
I was just going to say I would not say expertise, as that is no.
I didn't want you to accuse me of buttering you up. Like I was going to call it expertise. Just I think you've been doing this more than I have, so you do have more experience than I do. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be covering this little gem from Tom Rabbit with Darth attempting a comedy routine while dissing Matt Dillahunty over his reaction to a birthday card he got from some pretty overbearing, kind of sanctimonious parents. I don't know Matt Dillahunty's like family story all that much or anything, but this isn't recent. I think this Matt Dillahunty video is maybe 3 years old.
Yeah.
And I think this is just a thing that like Darth and some of his minions, they have like an anniversary. They bring this up once a year.
They do this on an annual basis?
I heard they've done this before. So
I
don't know if
did
it's
not know that. That is so strange. Why would
and you'd think they would do it on his birthday, you know? Like they would do like a Dillahunty day, and on his birthday they would do this, and then castigate him. But this one just seemed to come out of nowhere. And then when Tom put it together, and I gave it a listen the first time, I'm like, holy shit! I was watching the live premiere.
Yeah,
that's where I saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, he's really trying to do like a bit here. This is super cringy. So yeah, it took me forever to find like a thumbnail that I thought would work. So I went with something that was both sinister and kind of funny, which Ed Hardy as Bronson. That was the best I could find.
Yeah. I don't know. So I had seen this before. I'd watched this actual video before, and when I saw that Tom Rabbit had gone live and he was doing, what did Tom Rabbit? It said there, Darth Dawkins cackles like a hyena at his birthday card. I saw that as the streaming now, or it was a premiere, I think, and I was like, wait, hang on. There's hardly two of these birthday cards that Matt Dillahunty has got. So I just kind of went in, just to see, and like they were in the fucking studio. So I was like, oh yeah, this is from a couple of years ago. It's like I've watched this. I know this video. So it's why I don't know if you'll be able to kind of show it on. It doesn't matter whether you'll be able to. But in the live chat of this video, it gets to a certain point. And before anybody else said it, literally just because I'd watched this before, Tonlock says a certain thing, and I'm like, boy, you better get fucking ready to eat those words in about 2 fucking seconds of this video. And of course he never does. But it's like there was just certain things that were being said where I was like, no, this is definitely the one that I've watched. So yeah.
Yeah, this one should be. I mean, there's definitely enough here to cover, so we'll probably just kind of focus on this one if we do get enough time, and you still got energy, because I know it's much later where you are, and I don't know. I know you're kind of an idol, but I don't know how dedicated an idol you are.
I mean, I try to do, to stay up as much as possible, but doesn't always work.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can sleep when you're dead, right?
Exactly.
Until you hit my age, and then you realize, oh wait, no, I feel like I'm dying all the time. So I'm just turn in for a nap. All right, so we're gonna crank this over, turn this on, and I think I'm gonna speed this up just a touch. 1.25. I don't think he's watching the Dillahunty video at an increased speed, so it should be good.
Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit! Today, we'll be looking into another episode of Psychoatheism, a show that explores the inner workings of the crazy.
I should let everybody know. Anyone in the chat, if you start hearing anything, you can't hear, you got volume issues going on, echoes or anything like that, definitely let us know right away. And Steven, if this is going okay, if there's something, either wave at me frantically on video or yell at me to press pause if you want to.
No problem.
You want to put a comment in. So, okay, here we go, folks.
And psychotic thinking of atheists. And we put their minds on full display for you to see and realize how very crazy they are. On today's special episode, we're dealing with a kind of semi-famous atheist who's rather bald and has a goatee and
Wait,
hates
semi-famous atheist? Sorry. So I jumped into this when it was about 7 minutes in, so I haven't seen all of this. But semi-famous atheist, he's literally the most famous atheist alive. Like, what do you even mean? Like, sorry, it's such a small thing. Again, I jumped in and I instantly looked at when it was live. It was live 7 minutes ago, so it's only 7 minutes into this that I've seen from. But sorry, that's such a small thing.
I mean, you figured, like, but even this early into it, just introducing it, these little passive aggressive digs. You know, he's just gonna make sure, like, just petty bullshit. Yeah.
a birthday card with Bible verses on it. So let's go to our very special program and listen to our crazy atheist.
And I want to point out, because I think it's worth noting here, this is what he minimizes this to Matt Dillahunty reacting to a birthday card that he received that happens to have some Bible verses on it, is the way he kind of presents it. That is not the connotation or denotation of what is going on here. Like, just the fact that he's just willfully ignoring any kind of family bonds, history, psychology, unwritten kinds of communications. These guys will accuse atheists of being what spurging out or whatever. This is kind of like from whatever that's supposed to mean as far as an insult. But this is sort of it. It's like you're insulting people because you can't read between the lines. This is really sad. So I would say that when you can't read between the lines like that, and you think that you're in on some kind of joke, this comes across as psychotic. Maybe that's just me. But.
So two very, very quick things. Would it be possible for you to go full screen on the video? Is that going to fuck up things on your end, or?
Can. Yeah.
Yeah? It just might kind of look a little bit better, you know what I mean? Like, if it's, especially for your end as well, because it's like, you know what I mean? It's the whole kind of, like, because the way that you have it set up on StreamYard, the way that, like, you know what I mean? Us reacting to it, it'd be kind of...
It'll center it like that, but it won't zoom in. I don't know why.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Why?
That's yeah, I don't know.
That's so strange.
I wonder if, hang on, let me do this real quick. Let me see if I get rid of that banner in the background. If it will do it now. I've heard this can sometimes be an issue, but this might just be a long shot. Let's try it.
And also, sorry, just kind of whilst you're figuring that out, do you know Michael from the CA podcast? He's been on MDD a bunch, yeah. Would you mind if he actually jumped in here as well? Because I know that he's had personal dealings with Darth. Like, he's interviewed, like, Aaron Ra, like, a lot of kind of, like, high up people, you know, in the kind of atheist circle. I don't think he's ever spoken to Matt, but... Yeah, would you mind terribly if I gave him the link?
No, that'd be fine.
Cool.
Are you going to have him come through on your side with things?
Yes, but you should still be able to hear him, though. I think.
I was going to say, if you want to give him the main link that I shared with you, that'll be fine, and then I'll bring him in. So.
Yeah.
There we go. Now it's full screen. Will that work?
Yes, that's perfect. Actually, that's perfect.
Okay. All right, let's go. But yeah, if you want to share out the one that I shared with you, you can copy that and send that over to Michael. And then...
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Cool.
I don't mention that just, thank you very much. I don't mention that just for self-promotional stuff. Something significant happened and it pissed me off and frustrated me. And so I'm going to tell a story about some stuff that I don't normally talk about. And that is my parents.
Let's stream them for everyone's enjoyment pleasure.
For all you atheists out there who've dealt with religious family members, and some of you, this will hit home. Some of you is going to be kind of a surprise. Some of you will think this isn't that big of a deal, and some of you will be like, holy crap, how can they say that? At the top of the letter, and it's a page and a half on a little memo sheet, at the top of the letter she lists Paul Begley as the internet preacher that she listens to, and Tony Evans, Stillwater's Charles Lawson as the preacher that other people in the family listen to. Then immediately below that is Romans 3:23, Romans 5:8, Romans 6:23, Romans 10:9, 1 John 1:9, and then it's bracketed to say the Roman road to God, and then in parentheses, salvation. Now, my first thought is, I know the Bible better than you. Why the fuck do you think you need to be sending me a parade of Bible verses? You had me in church from the time I was 5 years old. You think I don't know these verses? You think I don't?
I kind of wonder about like that whole thing. Like, look, I mean, you could take issue with the fact that Dillahunty's bringing up this, like, kind of like airing out his laundry about strife between him and his family. But this guy he's a seminary dropout. So when he says, like, he's telling, like, his family members, I know the Bible better than you. You know what I rejected, right? Like, you know how far I took this, and then, like, what I gave up. So he kind of has a point there. The fact that, and Darth of all people to play music like that, like, this guy is being melodramatic. Like, have you listened to yourself, Darth? Like,
yeah. I mean, look, oh god, yeah, it's I mean, look, are we really surprised that, like, Darth, the king of projection and irony, is, like, making a fool of him? I mean, come on, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like there's just no surprise anymore.
Yeah.
Don't know the road to salvation. We hashed all this out in December about where I sit. But, okay, at this point, I'm just like, whatever. You're going to be preachy. This is my mom writing. Dear son, before your candle goes out, Dad and I pray you will repent, in all caps, and receive the Lord Jesus Christ into your heart.
Hey, Michael.
Steven, how the hell are you, brother?
I am very, very good. GF, would you mind reposting the link for my StreamYard just so I can add Michael in on my end? Would that be so terribly yeah.
I'll just throw it in the private chat for you guys.
Perfect, thanking you.
There it goes. Okay, it's in there now.
So you want me to rejoin this one?
Join that one, yeah, and then I will mute you on my end, but you'll still be coming through on my stream.
You'll be joined to two at the same time. We're probably overdoing this, so who knows?
I mean, quite possibly, but
Yeah, I kind of like this. I like this. Let's see. Maya was responding to somebody in the chat. When people are upset, it can be therapeutic to let it out among those who understand where you're coming from. It's his story to tell. Yeah, and ultimately that's kind of it. You might disagree with the fact that Matt Dillahunty is airing this out, like I said, kind of airing out dirty laundry between, like, but I think people that know his show and have watched the Atheist Experience know about kind of the falling out between him and his family over this. So I don't think this is unprecedented in any way. Okay, you guys ready to push on with the video?
Yeah.
He loves you and paid the price for your sins. John 3:16. As if there's anybody on the planet who didn't know that verse. We are, all caps underlined, the last generation. Judgment is about to fall on this world. America is an abomination to the Lord. God does promise to rapture his own before destruction any day now. It's been a great joy to be your parents and a great pain. We hope to see you in heaven. Our God is wonderful. The devil has lied to you. Happy birthday, love, mother.
Okay, oh my god, okay. I'm so sorry. I know that this is not the point of this video, but I would be remiss if I did not say so Noxum in my chat just donated €250 for the live stream that I did, which is now ended, but I decided to keep it up for another week because a few people reached out to me and said that they wanted to donate after the fact. Sure. That is a total now of over €500 that is going towards the National Suicide Hotline. I am so sorry. I know I'm hijacking this. I did not plan for this, but
congratulations, man.
Genuinely, knocks it from, like, that is incredible, absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, but if I had known you were getting charitable donations, well, I would have called this whole thing off. I'm a heartless atheist, and I do not believe
what is this?
man
What is
being
this?
kind
What is
to
this
fellow man.
charity bullshit you're talking about?
Aren't we all like, because we're atheists? Aren't we all heartless by definition?
Basically,
mean-
yeah. It's like a cannibal cult of insane highwaymen.
It's funny. Megan, Josh Bowen's wife from Digital Hammurabi.
Yeah.
She posted a thing on Twitter today saying, everybody knows that atheists never have to ask what's for dinner because everybody knows it's always babies.
Sure.
And I commented, I'm like, whoa, hang on, like toddlers will do in a pinch. It's just the meat isn't as tender.
Right.
It's it's all very funny.
A real carnivore is not going to limit themselves to veal. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very much and very proud. Just praying your energy would be directed to the Savior. He is our joy and can be yours. Love you much, Dad. Now, yeah, okay, they said they love me. They said happy birthday. Fuck that. This is some absolutely...
Okay, general comedy rule. Not that I'm a professional comedian.
Yeah.
I just say things and people laugh at me. So I don't know if that's good or bad. But if you're gonna keep using like a little musical motif like that, a little gimmick, like maybe don't use one that's already played to death, and then
He's overdoing it. Yeah.
And then he's playing it at points where it could mean one thing or the other. Like someone critical of him could have played it at that moment. Right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. Like, are you playing that sound in reaction to what how Matt is reacting, or to what the parent said? Because sometimes he's like hit that, and it's like, yeah, I agree. That sound is what my brain might make if I heard, hey, you're going to hell. Happy birthday.
Yeah, or maybe like dun dun dun.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Something like it. Yeah.
I wonder if somebody can put together, like, just for Darth Dawkins, like a whole soundboard of all the cliched musical motifs that exist in TV and movies. So, sorry.
He should be able to do that really easy himself. After all, he's old enough to be everybody's grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or so he tells everyone.
I've got a soundboard older than some of you kids in here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Bullshit. This is passive-aggressive love bombing that has nothing to do.
Does anyone else just laughing their ass off right now?
His parents must be proud.
Yeah, the guy.
No, I mean, if you read between the lines of what he just read out loud, it seems pretty clear that they're not. That's kind of why the birthday card is just a kid between the legs. But go ahead and continue to give such great commentary.
He's flipping out over that birthday card.
This is why I have to conclude that this is to some extent some sort of fake anger, because there's no way he could actually be angry about this. I mean, are you kidding me? I can't.
Let's do what the sportscasters. You watch the news. Let's go to the videotape.
Praying your energy would be directed to the Savior. He is our joy and yours. Love you much, Dad. Now, yeah, okay, they said they love me. They said happy birthday. Fuck that. This is some absolutely cowardly bullshit.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what part of the world. I think he's in Florida. But, like, was he doing nitrous this night or something? Because either he's faking that laugh.
Yeah.
Or he's just enjoying himself for reasons other than this. Like, nothing about this. Like, even if I were a Christian and thought atheists were played out and obnoxious, I don't think that this is funny in any real way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, but see, you just hit the nail right on the head. If you were a Christian, Darth is not a Christian.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
He has made that so perfectly clear. I've had I've had 2 interactions with him. One on purpose, which I regret, and two accidentally, which I regret. But he is the most un-Christian Christian, and the only caveat might be Smokey Saint, that I've ever encountered. He is just so You know, like, I mean, whether it's all the names he has to call people, he doesn't have the capacity to not personally insult someone.
Yeah.
He does. He can't do it. He can't, or seemingly he can't do it. He'll do it now because I'm living so rent free in that fucker's head. It isn't even funny. But it is like he'll do it now because I've said he can't do it. But beyond that, he doesn't have the capacity to do it. He makes fun of guys like I forget their names now. The former Talk Heathen people. He calls one of them Perm Boy. And
Well, that's Eric. That's Eric, 100%.
Yeah, and he calls Shannon Q Duck Lips. He, you know, and everyone who disagrees with him is, you know, is the, you know, R word for people with mental health conditions, you know, or they are kids, or they're potheads, or they're drunk, or they're children trapped in adults' bodies. He doesn't have the capacity to not insult someone.
Baldy does make it. He's how does that make him less Christian? Yeah, I mean, in my experience, a lot of Christians, you know, they were Christian, except they were petty minded, if not overtly abusive, then at least passively. So,
yeah, it's interesting because I've had a lot of experience lately with Standing for Truth, Donnie, and I mean, he and I categorically disagree. Each one thinks the other is delusional. But at least to my face, and in every forum that I have seen, he has been very decent to me. And so, you know, by contrast, like when you contrast that with someone like Darth, it is just, and I hate that I have to call him Darth. Darth Vader is my favorite Star Wars character, and I hate that twat waffle hijacked the name. But, and this is some of my anger coming out because I've interacted with him. Like the last time I interacted with him was on Praise's channel, and you know, because it's a Christian channel, I didn't swear. The same as I don't ever swear when I'm on Standings or Apologetics Live or anything else like that. But you know, hey, I can let my fuck flag fly here a little bit. So he's just such a sad sack of a human being. And yeah, I am convinced that he is not Christian. And to answer the comment that came in, how does that make him less Christian? Just by his actions. What is the Bible verse? You'll know them by their fruits.
yeah.
His fruits are rotten.
I mean, yeah. Like, I don't know, like it's one of those kind of situations where, like, if it's not that I like necessarily like always do this or that like I would like start doing it, but it's kind of one of those things where, like, you know, if all of us on this panel were wrong, and you know and Jesus does actually come back, if he was to see or to witness any of the things that Darth is doing, he'd be fucking appalled. Like, Jesus was like a fucking live freely hippie socialist kind of like you know, let's go like round, like, I don't know, healing people, that sort of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. I like, is this really the guy that Darth thinks is going to be fucking proud of him for doing all of the things that Michael has just said, like calling, you know what I mean, like calling people the fucking R slur, like constantly making fun of people, constantly being so insecure about you. Like, a lot of people say that Darth is like has like a massive ego. I don't think that he has a massive ego at all. I think that he has an extraordinarily fragile ego, and that's why he constantly has to demean and make fun of other people, because he thinks that if he doesn't do that, that they will be kind of perceived by not the people in the room, because their mouths are that full of Darth's dick that they can't speak properly, but the people who are in the audience for, you know, who are just kind of there as like a once-off thing, or like in any of Tom Rabbit's audience or in Jeff's audience or anything else, that they might think that the person that Darth is interacting with is a better human being than who Darth is, or is like tougher or nicer or any of these sorts of things. Like, Darth has to make fun of them because he knows how fucking small he is. He knows that he has a micro penis. He knows that he has a wife and several kids and several grandkids who don't want to fucking speak to him anymore. He knows all of these things, but he has to be the bigger person. He has to be the best person in the room. So he has to belittle people. He has to.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to point out, and I doubt either one of them would listen to it, but when this has become a popular thing with guys like Darth Dawkins and Jesus is Lord and, well, Rebuke and Reprove now, and I think Smokey's even brought this up where, you know, it's perfectly okay for these guys to be like aggressive and call people out for being scumbags and degenerates and all this kind of stuff and lying, deceitful, fakes, phonies and frauds. And they're like, well, Jesus did this with the Pharisees. And I'm like, you know, what you might want to actually consider here is that given your rhetoric and your behavior, you guys are more closely resemble the Pharisees in those Gospels than you resemble Jesus. Jesus would probably be yelling at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can't see that because of their Jesus goggles that they have on.
Yeah.
But I think you're 1,000% right. And the other thing, Stephen, just to tack on to what you said about how fragile his ego is. The other thing that makes that painfully obvious is he clings to his safety blanket, which is Discord. He will not go. He will not go into forums, and he has stated, and this is where, I mean, at least he's not hiding it. At least he's stating that he won't go somewhere unless he has power.
Yeah.
Like, and he said that openly. I won't go somewhere unless I have X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he knows that, one, his arguments aren't that good, and if he actually let people engage with him, and if he actually answered questions, he would be as torn apart as Frank Turek was by Christopher Hitchens in their debate. And
That was a pretty good one.
And it is just, it's just so painfully obvious. But he clings like that. Those couple of Discord rooms, that he is Linus, and that is his fucking blanket.
Well, you can always use Antonio as a bullet shield, because that guy.
From what I've seen, he's too busy cupping Darth's balls.
But I mean, it was funny because in a few videos ago, he leads, and Antonio just basically, without missing a beat, just carries on berating somebody in the exact same fashion that Darth was until Darth comes back.
Well, because and it doesn't take much, because it is a well circulated script. You know, Dean and I had Cy-Ten Brugencade in studio here a couple of years ago on the podcast. He's from London, Ontario, just a couple hours from us, and I was going to quote unquote debate him on the now defunct Non Sequitur show, and he said, no, I do this too much online. He said, either we're only a couple hours apart, I'm coming to you or you're coming to me. I'm like, here's my address. He showed up here, we sat down, vehemently disagreed, but spoke like human fucking beings to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that Darth clearly, demonstrably, daily demonstrates he doesn't have the capacity to do.
And I kind of question whether or not I brought that up before. I question, like, this guy's social life, like, because the way he's behaving on this kind of on social media kind of makes me think like this guy is a little. I mean, people make allegations that he's a narcissist, that he's, but clearly whatever it is that's going on with him, he is not in a good place, and he's imbalanced. Like he's just inhaling his own farts nonstop. Essentially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the hard part is that his actions make it really difficult to be sympathetic for that.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yep. All right, let's kick this back over and try to get through more of this cackling.
Shit. This is passive aggressive love bombing. It has nothing to do with love. They
God,
took
that's so
my
fake.
birthday, which I don't care that much about it, and made it about them and their religion and their fears. And if this had happened a decade or so ago, I would have written it off as, yeah, okay, they're struggling with this. Well, it's too late. Fucking get over it. You're convinced that I'm coming back to Jesus. I'm not. Even if Jesus...
Wait a minute. Who needs to get over what?
Is he like 12 years old living at home?
They sent him a birthday card with Bible verses, and he has a massive hemorrhoidal attack.
It's real. Your Jesus
Oh,
is a
God,
dick, and I
it's
want
not-
nothing to do with him. I'll no longer...
There's the other one, hemorrhoidal attack, another one of his favorite ones.
But it's so stupid. It's like it obviously had more than Bible verses on it because he
Yeah.
was allowed the words written to him by his loving parents. You idiot.
Well,
Like, wait
see, and that's the thing. That's the thing, and that's where Jefferson, I think where you hit the nail on the head very, very well, is that what does it say about someone's state of mind when they react the way Darth has over someone receiving something like this from their parents? Like it's. I mean, I think Matt's doing his best here, to put on the tough face. But I think in a room, he'd probably admit, or maybe he does in this video because I haven't seen it, say that that he's upset about it. You wouldn't be fucking human if you weren't. And to take pleasure in that.
Yeah, it's a little weird. But but his parents, Matt Dillahunty's parents, are on Darth's team. At least as far as Darth's willing to let them, But I'm sure if he talked with Matt's parents, within 20 to 30 minutes, they would say something doctrinally wrong, and he would kick and mute them from his server.
Yeah.
Unless they learned how to do what guys like Barthology do, where, yeah, I'm a Catholic, but I just don't bring it up around Darth, because if I don't bring it up around him, he doesn't bring it up around me. So as long as I'm there and I kiss his ass, he has no problem with the fact that I'm a Christian in the name only, destined for hell. They're all fucking weird. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Just don't acknowledge that he's real,
whole
but I'm
kind
not
of
gonna worship or revere.
the whole kind of like fake laugh thing that is really, really obvious is what he's doing. It's why I have my stream titled as Darth goes full Joker over Matt Dillahunty, because he's just doing a fucking impression of the Joker's laugh. That's it. That's what it is. It's not a real laugh. He's so obviously putting this on, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a way to I mean, it's the kid that laughs derisively at everyone in The Simpsons kind of thing. Like, if he just did that, maybe did that once, but at that point, I mean, it's still fucking dismissive. But I mean, there are, as far as ridicule goes, this is what bothers me about this. Just from someone who has a black heart, this is not doing anything. If you're really gonna go, if you're gonna be this petty and this crass, go for broke, really get vicious with it. And they don't. They're laughing at this and mischaracterizing as Matt's freaking out over a card that happens to have some. This isn't a Hallmark card that showed up with a quote from 1 Thessalonians on it or something, or John 3:16 on the back.
Yeah.
It was a personalized birthday greeting from his parents, basically telling him, "We hope you come back to the faith because we really don't want to go to heaven without you. If you don't change your ways and get in line, you're going to hell. Happy birthday! You're another year older, another year closer to the fires of hell." The fact that look, if you're gonna dig in on him, maybe try a little harder, but don't I guess I said all that to say this: even when he's attempting to be mean to someone and ridicule them, he's still strawmanning somehow, in an ineffectual way. This is amazing.
Yeah, he's all. I mean, and maybe that just displays his glaring lack of creativity.
Yeah, he does lack an.
Everything about him is just the same. It's just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. I haven't heard him. It's funny because I enjoy Tom Rabbit's videos. And by the way, I should say I'm a Tom Rabbit video now.
Yes, you are.
Which I found hysterical.
Wait,
and
did it get flagged?
I don't know. Praise re-released it. Actually, he released it yesterday, and it's funny because for all of his faults and I don't think Praise perfect. He doesn't think I'm perfect, but he and I have had a couple of decent interactions too. He's been on the podcast, and I quote unquote debated him on Standing for Truth about morality, and he released the video and he retitled it. "Darth makes the Canadian atheist tap out." And I sent Praise an email saying, "That's a dick move, man. Like you were there, and I told you before Darth came in, I didn't want to talk to him, but it was your channel, and so it's your call." And so we brought him in. And if you watch the whole, he made it private for a long time, and then Darth solicited him to make it public, and he did. And then so we had the conversation, and I said, okay. And then I was trying to get a question out, and Darth kept on interrupting me. And I said, "I'm going to ask you this one more time, and then I'm not going to speak to you anymore." And then I started to say something, and he did it again. And so I just like, praise, I'm done. And then I essentially did what he does to people, which is muted him. I muted my speakers, and I started fucking doodling on a piece of paper. And I said, send a praise a message in private chat saying, message me when this asshole's done. And then towards the end, I unmuted myself, and I heard him like, I don't know how many times you have to hear me say I don't want to talk to you, and stuff like that. And so, Praise sent me an email back saying it was just humor, and it's just rhetoric. And I said, yeah, but it plays into his rhetoric that I was a coward. And then Praise changed the title. To Praise's credit, he changed the title of the video to just Michael and Darth square off round 2.
Well, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Tom Rabbit's watching, if anybody can set the record straight on. Tom Rabbit made a video out of that particular one. From what I understand, I think I heard this either from, I think Praise mentioned this. Somebody said it. He flagged it, and so it was in dispute, so Tom couldn't put it up. And then he re-uploaded it.
Yeah, I saw it because I get YouTube notifications like everybody else does, and I saw it the day after it went up, and I commented on it saying, "Well, I guess I've made it. I'm a Tom Rabbit video now." Mm-hmm. But I saw it that one time, and I didn't go back and look at it again, so I'm not even aware whether it's still up.
Yeah, from what I understand, he did a copyright strike on it, and so it's suspended and just kind of in limbo now, waiting for it. And then he uploaded it later. I think he was talking with like Veckel over it, because then Veckel did a review of it and posted it up in its entirety. So there's a couple different sources where you can watch it from, but unfortunately you gotta give those guys the view. It can't. But then it was weird when I posted my last stream from last night. I posted it in different Discord servers. I put it in like the share content on Praise's Discord server, which it looks like I'm contributing the most content on that server. But anyway, I put it on there, and then sure enough, what does Praise do last night? He does a Tom Rabbit video review, and he reviews the one between Darth Dawkins and Smokey, the very one that I sent to him that I was doing. Like,
okay. Oh yeah, okay, I did. I went in and commented quite a bit on that last night.
On the Smokey one?
Yep.
Did you see my comment on it?
Actually, no, I don't think. Well, so it was I was paying hyper close attention to what was going on, so I didn't see yours. What did you say?
So this was in the actual comments of the Tom Rabbit video on Smokey. It was the one where Darth was interacting with him. And, there was a lot of people that were kind of, like, not necessarily praising Smokey, but kind of, saying, like, oh, he did a good job, like, combating him, like, in this sort of thing. And I just went in and I was just like, yeah, Smokey's on trial for, like, raping an underage girl, so maybe not give him the praise that, like, some of you guys are giving. I understand that you don't know about it and whatever else, but, hey, not exactly the best dude either. So yeah. I'm actually unaware of what the status of that whole thing still is. But I remember, Stephen, it was you. Mm-hmm.
What was it when you were on my podcast or I was on yours or whatever like that? When afterwards you're like, "Do you know about Smokey?" I'm like, "I have no idea." And you were the one who shed light on it for me. I'm like, I had no clue.
Yeah.
Stephen, why did you do that to Michael? Why would you do that to him? Michael, Stephen is no friend of yours.
Well, yeah. Okay. Full disclosure, I like Kevin more.
I mean, Kevin's on less, so like, all right, okay. Sucks for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Just one kind of random question: are all of us a Tom Rabbit video? Like, have we all been in it? Like, have we all like shared the spotlight of like a Darth versus whoever is a Tom Rabbit video?
I have a short one. I think it's maybe 15 minutes long, and it's a few months old. But yeah, I've got one.
All right.
Yeah, but Jefferson, you've also been slagged by Praise and some other guys too. Whereas Praise and I seem to still have a degree of tenuous respect for one another.
Praise takes issue with me bringing up the fact that he threatened to kill my brother.
Oh, I had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah, he issued a death threat and then spent 6 months saying that he didn't do that, lying to his fellow Christians that that's not what happened. And I was like, you're a gaslighting piece of shit. And then when it was over, he admitted to my brother that that's what happened and that he was lying to people and that he was covering it up, but it was all in good fun. And then I was like, you're an even bigger piece of shit than I took you for. If you're going to threaten somebody with that, at least own up to it. Don't try to cover it up and say, oh, I was talking like a pro wrestler. Like, that's not how life works. He was legitimately triggered and threatened to empty a gun into my brother's neck or something like that. It was fairly vivid. And it's
Yeah,
like I had no concern that he was actually going to pull this off. But when some shit kicker threatens to kill one of your relatives over discourses online, that tends to make that person lower than dog shit in your opinion. And he seemed to take offense that I would disrespect him for that. Like, of course I disrespect you for that. You're a low life peckerwood piece of shit.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm sorry for your brother and that experience for sure. I had no idea. It's funny because people always ask me, well, what's your channel? I'm like, I don't have a YouTube channel, man. I do a little bitty podcast, man. Like, I am so insignificant when it comes to this kind of stuff. I don't do Discord, mostly because, well, like, one, I've never been on Discord, not once.
You're missing nothing.
Wow.
and I also one of the main reasons I haven't is because anytime I've ever just looked and you look at the videos of Discord feeds and stuff like that, it's like it is impossible, or at least seemingly impossible, for two people to have a conversation. And so, like, for example, with the video that was Standing for Truth posted a video yesterday, like last night sometime, and I commented on it. It was about Frank Turek offering this, amazing evidence for God and stuff like that. So I commented on it, and I mentioned the Christopher Hitchens debate that he did, and a few other things. And a bunch of people were like, blah 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 blah. And then eventually, someone was like, "Hey, come on Discord." And I said the same thing I just said to you. I'm like, I don't do Discord. Like, here's my email address. I'd be happy to host like a Zoom call or something, or have you on the podcast. But if we are gonna chat, I'd like us to chat, and not to get into a situation where 25 people dogpile into a conversation and fucking nothing happens then.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of what happens on Discord. So, and I mean, I kind of enjoy like Skylar being back, and he'll kind of jump in there and watch them. But yeah, I can put in about 10 minutes of listening to those tops, and then I have to turn them off just to kind of like because it's just too much of a cacophony of just craziness.
Well, one of the things that I find so funny about it, and then please, I'll stop talking, is how the rooms seemingly, like, especially talking about Skylar's feeds, which I enjoy, is it's so stagnant because he is the dictator from on high, and you can't say a fucking word in there without his blessing. And it's like, but he must have perma erection over that, for that degree of power. And it's probably because he has power nowhere else in his life. And maybe that's why he spends, from what I've seen at least, so much time on Discord.
Maybe he's constantly afraid, so he's always got fear boners, so the control that he gets in Discord allows him to relax. That's
allows him to be flaccid for those couple of hours a day,
Just so you know, it's not gonna, the vessels aren't gonna burst and your penis is gonna fall off. Who was it that
Well,
did that?
it could be a fear. Could be, what I mean? Could be a fear. And
I
hey,
think it might be an urban legend, but it was a guy that supposedly injected one of his the vesicles, the tubes in his dick, got it in the blood vessels, filled it with cocaine, and had priapus for over 48 hours, left it, and then it actually like destroyed the tissue, and it didn't fall off, but it was coming off. Yeah.
So I had to turn my camera off there while I winced horribly.
No, yeah, and for the audience, my apologies. This, but still, that mental image is not as bad as Darth Dawkins' fake laughter. So here we go.
Or any god that could turn my parents into.
See, this is insanity right there, okay? Because if we acknowledge that Jesus Christ is real, he is who he said he is, then he would be the ultimate and very essence of all that can and should be worshipped, and yet he's saying, I won't worship him. That is what we call insanity, folks.
Babbling buffoons like this who don't understand what love is, don't understand how you should say happy birthday to somebody. I don't like this.
You know what's interesting? Notice he's saying they don't understand how you should say happy birthday. Where does an atheist get any shoulds or shouldn'ts from? Could somebody please
Oh,
raise
fuck
their
off.
hand in the classroom here? Could somebody tell me?
fuck off. Just shut up.
That's a bunch of tired nonsense. Like this is like, well, where do you get off saying good morning to me? How do you even know that the sun has risen in the sky? Grow the fuck up, Darth Dawkins. Like, he is getting back into this shit. I was talking to my brother about this. this shit was happening like 6, 7, 8 years ago, I think. 'Cause some of the first precepts that I saw, I remember there was this one skinny dude, really skinny, kind of looked like he was trying to go for like a Jesus beard and haircut, and would argue precept this exact same way. Well, you might as well be speaking gibberish to me because you don't acknowledge God and you can't know anything, kind of crap. They ended up having to retire that because everybody started telling him to shut the fuck up with that, including Christians that kind of agreed with precept, because that argument makes no sense. It's childish nonsense, and he's going back into it. Anybody that tells me now that, you know, like they think that what they're witnessing is Darth in mental decline, I'm more inclined to agree with them now, because
Yeah,
he's
it's
going
funny.
he's coming back at this tactic that was already retired.
Yep, there were a couple. So Psi 10 was one of those guys. Dustin Seegers was another
Yeah.
one from years
That's the
ago.
guy. That's the
Where-
name. That,
where he
that
would
guy
say-
was obnoxious about it.
Yeah, and he would say something like, I remember one of his, he was doing it. Actually, it was Cy and Dustin did a debate together on a university campus against a couple of students. You probably still find it online. And at one point, they said, you know, does this conversation have to be logical? And one of the kids was like, well, it doesn't have to be. You know, like if and it's true, like the conversation doesn't have to be logical if you're not looking to make any progress.
Yeah.
And then later on, he said, remember that. And then when they went to questions, he was asked a question, and the guy said something like, ice cream sleeps faster on Wednesday, therefore something. And
Yeah.
he's like, that's what I can say if it doesn't have to make sense. And I could see now, and of course, now that I've said that, and because Darth loves me, he will now use that somewhere. And I just hope I hear it the first time he says it.
Probably, yeah. But no, that bullshit is back. He was doing it today on Discord. He was like, "Well, you might as well be saying goopity goop about
Yeah,
flirbity
that's
flurb."
right.
And I'm like,
That's right.
Darth, what you need to do is just you need to
Shut
punch
up.
yourself in the neck as hard as you can, and then, you know, struggle to breathe for a few minutes, and then, you know, hopefully that'll cause you to kind of calm down. 'Cause it's
In
a little too
Roblox, of
exciting
course.
for
Let's
players.
not get stricken in Roblox. In Roblox.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That is. I was being sarcastic.
We can't
Here we
be incented to violence.
Well, and self-violence in this case, not for him. He's too old for that.
Well, yeah,
If he
true,
was-
true,
If
true.
he was, I mean, self-harm for him, that can involve just taking a trip to the job. So,
Yeah, it's funny. I want the same thing for Darth as I did for Trump when he was in office. I wished him no ill will. I just wanted him to go back to obscurity.
Yeah. I just wanted him
Just
just
go
to, like, I didn't necessarily like wish that, like, you know what I mean, that, like, I don't know, like, so, like he died or anything. Like, I didn't, you know what I mean, I didn't wish for it, but I wouldn't. I just kind of wanted him to go back to his golden tower and just stay there and never leave again. That's that's it. That's basically.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's well, and it's kind of sad too. For like, my issue with him, like, I don't care what happens to him. What I think is really disturbing is that there are, and they're never women, they're always guys, and they seem to gravitate towards, like, whatever his psychological stance is towards this stuff, and they're the ones that are going to end up fueling this stuff after he's, you know, given up the internet or shuffled off and, you know, done whatever. You know, we're still gonna be dealing with, you know, a younger generation of people that are still channeling most of this stuff, and a lot of the stuff that Darth Dawkins is doing, it's just baggage from his generation. I mean, people make fun of him and call him like a boomer and stuff, but there is something to be said about that. There's a lot of maladaptive psychological problems going on there that he hasn't dealt with, and he thinks that he doesn't need to deal with any of those because Jesus will solve all his problems for him. And in the meantime, all that toxicity and all that impotent rage and stuff he dumps out on social media, and there's a bunch of people out there that, how does Pine Creek put them, like low IQ, are going to wick that stuff up because they see this guy as this is a potential wielder of power. Like, he has influence in engaging in this kind of rhetoric, and it's attractive to some. I think that's what's attracted to Antonio Tomoke. So that to me is the thing that I would like to see that get severed, where he's diminished to the point where they're not looking up to him as as like a pit boss,
Yeah, and it's funny because, and I agree with you, Jefferson, because it's also clear by some of the things he references, like the way he references the LGBT community. You can see that kind of old school in how he talks, and it's funny though. But with what you just said, so like for example, if everything that, and I'll preface this by saying I hope it's not true. Like I've seen the stuff that Steven shared with me about Smokey and the allegations and all those other things. I hope it's not true. The reason I hope it's not true is because if it's true, it means somebody got hurt, and I would rather somebody didn't, wasn't hurt. But if it is all true, even with the allegations and everything else like that, in the same way, look at how, for example, Jim Baker, he's back on TV selling his buckets of slop. Everybody forgets he was convicted of fraud and went to jail.
Right.
So if he can do things like that, and if Smokey can basically say, well, it's not me, and all he had to do was turn his camera, his webcam on for 5 seconds and show his face and speak so people knew it was him, and he could clear the air like that, and he won't do it, and yet he's just being forgiven, and it's just been washed away. What is it like? There's seemingly nothing Darth can do that will be too much. Just like Trump said, I could kill someone, I could shoot somebody on the street and you'd still vote for me, and they fucking did. And not that he shot someone on the street, but they still voted for him, even when they saw he had no idea what he was doing.
No, the goofy thing is they attempted to kill some cops.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And,
I could shoot somebody and these people would vote for me. I'm like, no, it's actually worse than that. Like they could go to jail for you for shooting people, for shooting other people, and then you know what? As long as they're not felons, and they'll vote for you. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I kind of see that kind of same kind of just kind of a twisted cult of personality kind of around. And he's not even that influential. It's just that, but the what he says and the way he says it, just the kind of like just the fucking crass nature of everything that he brings up. Like there's nothing that this guy says like, oh, it's everything. It's like watching what happens to an 80s, like a bully from an early 80s movie,
right?
Like who just got older and is a fundamentalist Christian now. Like he can barely, like he can't talk about actual cultural things in a way that actually relates to normal people, right? Like I mean he can't talk about, like you brought up the LGBTQ thing. There's no way he can do that. He can barely restrain himself from calling people that F word.
Yep, you're right.
On a daily basis. So it's like this guy's just he's lost it.
Yeah, one of the things that really scares me is though, and I'll say that I'm glad. I mean, Discord for what it is, and the degree of influence he has, he is like, he is a significantly sized fish in a very small pond, right? Discord is not the be all end all of social media, so that's fine. What I'm happy about, and then at the same time also scares me, is were he to have a physical pulpit somewhere, because then people could get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that in a lot of those cases, I don't think that he would ever do it. I think he knows that if he ever, I was telling somebody this, I commented up, if he showed his face and people were able to confirm who he was, he wouldn't get a moment's peace. This guy has engendered so much ill will from people, not just people who are atheists, but other Christians. They wouldn't give him a moment's peace. Like if I were him, I would be really worried about people. He's right to be concerned about his privacy. I would be. You can't talk that much shit for a decade and not have stacked up a group of enemies that aren't going to be willing to like act on that if you ever, if they ever see an opening. The only thing he's got going for him at this point in his life is that he's an old man, probably living in Florida. He doesn't have anything going on, right? It's just he's just a petty small fry. So, but that's part of his ego, right? Like nobody can find out who I am. It's like you're not jealously guarding your privacy, dude. He's afraid that he would end up being held accountable by somebody in real life for the stuff that he said.
Well, no, because remember he said, "Oh, I'm a big Second Amendment guy, and I want someone to come knock on my door."
No one wants that, especially Second Amendment types.
Yeah.
I mean, they say that, but it's like no, that's not fun time at the range. That's like the most hostile conditions you could possibly ever be in a shooting situation. Any of them that talk like that they're just talking out of their ass. And I that totally makes sense that he does that. I always forget that he's also noxiously right wing.
Yeah. But that stuff doesn't get me anyway. I mean, and maybe Steven, maybe you and I are in the same boat in this. I don't get the whole gun thing. Like, I just don't get it. Like, as a Canadian, I just don't get it. There are lots of hunters here. There are millions of guns in Canada. And, I'm upstairs in my kind of studio right now. My front door's not locked. I certainly don't have any weapons in the house other than like a utility knife or something like that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't feel more comfortable.
Yeah, but he's from Jersey, I always love when he kind of brings that up because he always kind of like it's like we're all like, not everyone in New Jersey is like a mobster type. He certainly isn't, as far as I can tell. And not everybody that grows up in Jersey is is like a fucking hardened criminal either. Like, get over yourself. Just like it'd be like saying, well, I'm from Texas, and in Texas we protect our own. Like, most of you people, like, get over yourselves. Like, you moved down there, you bought a big dumb hat, and you gained 40 pounds because of the barbecue. Don't tell me that you're tough.
And you didn't even get good barbecue because Kansas City has the best barbecue.
Kansas City barbecue is often better.
Yeah.
Although Austin's got that place with the brisket, I do want to go there. So, all right, let's get back into this video. Let's get some mileage on this.
Where does Matt Dillahunty get his shoulds and shouldn'ts from about how people should send birthday cards? Anyone? Bueller?
Preaching at. This is cowardly because we could have had a conversation. We did have a 6-hour conversation that I thought got us at least past this kind of.
It's cowardly. They sent him a birthday card with Bible verses on it.
Crap. But instead,
and a heartfelt message that he was going to hell. Hugs and kisses, your mom. That's
kisses.
One-directional communication, preaching at me. Oh yeah, and have a happy birthday. So I read it, and I was pretty pissed. Not at them as much as.
No, you're not mad at them. You could have fooled me.
It's cowardly.
When he goes, F that. But I'm not mad at them.
Like, is it this difficult to realize? Like, again, all of the things that like Matt has like said and that he's been like very, very clear about. Is it this difficult for him? And look, I know I shouldn't say it like this because Darth, as we all know, has room temperature IQ. But is it this difficult for him to realize that he's not mad at his parents? He's mad at what the religion has done to his parents. Is it that difficult? Like, even if I hadn't watched that video, me and like everybody else on this and everybody in my live chat and in Jeff's live chat, us, big high IQ, big brain boys, we all get that he's not mad at his parents. He's mad at what the religion has done to his parents. Like, and this is apparently like a yearly thing that Darth does. How has he not got this by now? Like, how has he not understood that this is what's happening? Like,
sorry, he does this every year for.
Apparently,
it's. I don't know if it's an annual thing, but this has been brought up before. Because who is it? Dead Rabbit. Yeah. I thought this was an old video from Matt. It is an old video from Matt. This has been discussed by them before.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, and I think more than once. I don't know if they've ever he's ever done this, and I don't know exactly what prompted Darth to get quite this showmany like it about it, because he's really trying to lay it on thick. But yeah, I don't like if this were fresh, maybe I could get like why he was cackling so hard. But this isn't the first time he's seen it by a long shot. So it's just it's like, oh well, you know what? I need to highlight that again, and this time I'll really I'll revisit my initial reactions. I'll play act for the crowd. Like, oh, okay, that's because that's what I can't imagine his fans care one way or the other. Maybe they do. If they do, then they need to get a life.
And how it has driven a wedge between us. The mere fact that we don't agree on this, and that they can acknowledge that I know vastly more about this subject than they do, and yet still toss out Bible verses and tell me once again the same thing that they told me dozens of other times. We're praying for God to stop you, whatever the cost. Before your candle is burned out, we hope you repent.
He's pissed.
Listen to his vitriol.
He's pissed because his parents are praying that God will strike him down.
This is very good reason why he should believe in God.
I mean, why?
That's a really good reason to think that the entire thing is a corrupt, insane joke. Like that, I can't believe that. Like, how servile do you have to be in your thinking and in your psychology? Like, that's a good reason to believe in God, right there. Mommy and Daddy called you to the carpet and told you that you're going to the place of eternal conscious torment. Like, look, if my parents had never wrestled with the really, really difficult concept of a God that's supposedly all just plus all merciful, built a place where some people who lived a good life but didn't acknowledge Jesus get to spend the rest of eternity suffering, you gotta call that God into question at least a little bit, or maybe at least call into question the people who can conceptualize these things about the God they claim is real.
Oh, hang on, Jefferson. Hang on, Jefferson. But what's your standard?
Right. I don't even know I don't know what the day of the week is.
Yeah.
What's a week? Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because I've spent a lot of time. Morality is my favorite thing to talk about, and when I had my discussion with Praise on SFT, I laid out that my standard for morality is well-being, and I laid out how it is very clearly an objective standard. It is not dependent on opinion at all. And now when I say that to people, they still just say, "Well, that's just your opinion." It's like they can't get past the like Praise brought up the thing of something called a moral supervenience, where he said, if you had two identical planets and stuff like that. And I went through the whole process of explaining how it's not a problem for me to address it with well-being. But they can't. They're so tuned into their rhetoric and to their script that they just have to say again, yeah, but that's just your opinion. Even when you say it's not your opinion. So it's like when it says it like this, it's like they just have to say. So when you question him, he'd be like that. He would just go back to, oh, well, how does he think he has the grounds to say anything at all, or the the goobity goop or the ice cream sleeps faster or whatever other kind of BS. I don't know why I censor myself there. Bullshit thing he wants to inject into that conversation. But they have to do that. They have to do it.
Yeah, I think it's weirder still that I think I lost my train of thought. I had two different ideas going there, and one derailed the other, and the other one's not fully formed. No, that's all right. I'll play this. It'll come back to me.
His vitriol. Listen to his
Wait, don't unpause it. Don't unpause it yet. Look at that frame. It looks like he needs that toupee.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
those of you who are parents.
Okay, the one thing that I got to point out, if I had $1 for every time I heard any of these guys go low and make fun of somebody for being bald, overweight, and female, those seem to be the top three.
Yep. Or having a hemorrhoidal attack.
Yeah,
But
it's always like a lot of superficial stuff.
Oh yeah, but that's the whole. Just it's so. You have a conversation with someone and you put them in, you give them an argument. It's like, yeah, you're fat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sure, you're right. Now, if you could please address my argument.
Yeah, that'd be just swell.
That would be spectacular. It's like, yes, thank you for pointing that out. But and you're right. I am follically challenged, and that's okay. Because it's like I have, it's funny. I actually joked around with someone once. I said, the reason I grew in a full beard was because people kept on telling me I was trying to look like Matt Dillahunty by just having a goatee. And I say that, of course, very tongue in cheek. But it's just so funny. Like but you're 1,000% right. There are these utility belt insults that get tossed out. And it's just rinse repeat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's something that I like. Look, if you're and this again, this goes back to even if you're gonna like get like bloody with your language or something, or even like paint violent imagery with it, at least do something kind of funny. Try for something that is at least witty. Just saying somebody, oh, look, he's bald. Yeah, I think we can all see that.
Like,
Yeah. Thanks, Sherlock.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
well observed, well observed.
Well, now that you've pointed out the problem, the next thing that you need to do is find out where all those hairs went. Quick! It's a mystery. Get on it.
Yeah. Hang on, no. God did it.
Yeah.
Like people are bringing up the Elisha moment where he was, they were like, get up, get out of here, Baldy. Darth would love it if people were comparing Matt Dillahunty to a modern day Elisha. Freak out.
Just to kind of piggyback on something that Michael said earlier, Kevin is constantly making fun of me because he says that I am, I am like basically turning into Vosh. I actually don't have my glasses on, which I should because I'm looking at 3 fucking screens. But yeah, no. So with the glasses, the beard, the fact that I'm a fucking socialist, and now with the fucking hair tied up, it's like he's basically just saying, you're just basically just Vosh now, and I'm like, all right, okay. I wish I had his fucking sub numbers, but
just do that for a while. Just do it for a while.
Yeah.
Look at you with your glasses. You're so cute.
Oh, fuck off.
And you had to get glasses because you made a mistake and let your eyes go bad.
It's not even that. It's not even that. I used to get like severe headaches because of like blue light with screens. So these just have an aggressive blue light filter in them, so I just don't get them anymore. When I'm like, I could kind of like not really like, but kind of start to get the first little bits of like a little bit of a headache like just now. That's actually what made me think of it. But yeah.
Just wait till you hit 50, brother.
I've got a ways to go before I hit 50, but I mean.
Oh fuck! How young are you? Jesus Christ! I'm tired of being the oldest person around.
I'm getting close to being mid 40s.
Oh, okay, all right. You're forgiven. No. Yeah, I've got shoes older than Steven. What can he know?
I just want to say, Michael, if that's true, you need to throw those shoes out. They've been meant to last that long.
I know. I'm cheap though. It's my wife. My wife's the one who makes all the money. I'm poor.
Oh, okay. Well, let her. If you have to ask her first, I don't know. Like, unless they're leather, if you've got something that's like from made out of like solid leather and like with a steel shank in it or something. Obviously, don't throw that out. You can get those.
Yeah, no, I don't have those.
But that's one of my favorites. I have sneakers older than you. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's really not. They don't hold up well. They don't hold up well.
Those are pillows for your feet so you don't knock all your joints loose when you're running, and you're supposed to have those for fucking running.
Yeah. My wife runs, and she buys she gets a new pair of shoes like every 4 to 5 months.
Yeah. If you're a regular runner, unless you've got something like super durable.
I mean, like, I don't run, which based on my like bodily physique is not a surprise to anybody. But I do walk like everywhere, and so, like after I finish work, I'm tackled with like an hour-long walk home. It takes me an hour to walk home after work, which I don't mind. Like, it's like an hour walking is nothing to me. But it's like I got a new pair of shoes a couple of months ago, and basically the same thing is starting to happen. Like, they're starting to like the soles are starting just like to wear down, essentially. Yeah. So I'm looking at buying a new pair now fairly soon.
Shoes last me a long time, but that's just because I'm lazy.
Same here, Michael. Same here. My shoes are pristine.
They can't wear it if you never wear them.
Exactly. I'm not gonna. I paid good money for those things. I'm not gonna get them out on the ground where they get dirty. I mean,
duh. I don't want the bottoms to get all black.
Parents having to do with
Oh my gosh.
The devil has deceived you. That's not what my birthday's about. And yet that's what they made it about. And so about 10, 11 years ago...
I thought he didn't care about his birthday.
Right, I thought he didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't care about my birthday.
But it doesn't
then he
matter.
goes, that's not what my birthday's about. What's that old Indian proverb? Methinks thou speak with forked tongue.
My brother, who is awesome, one of the greatest.
I don't know how many Indians are credited with using the word thou, but okay. It was a weird bit.
I mean, like, I like
on the planet.
It just doesn't matter though that he doesn't care about his birthday. Like, if I didn't care about my birthday, but like, you know, I can't even think of a fucking proper anecdote or like analogy. But like, if I didn't care about my birthday, but there was like this sneaking kind of thing that like something might kind of happen on it that I didn't want to, like, and then it did, I'm still gonna get fucking upset about it, even though I don't care about my birthday. Like, if it's a recurring thing that might happen on my birthday every year, even if I don't give a shit about it, which, to be totally honest, I don't give a shit about my birthday. I didn't give a shit this year. Last year, kind of, because I was 25, so I kind of wanted to go out, but then COVID had other plans. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if there was something that might happen on my birthday, even though I don't give a fuck about it, I'm still gonna care if it happens because it's bad, it's negative. I don't want it to happen. Like, they're really not getting, like, this is some basic stuff. Like I know I made the joke earlier that they all have room temperature IQ, but like, seriously, like.
Well, and on top of it, like, this is one of those things where, okay, like, if like Matt wraps this up with a point at the end that I think they still don't bother to get. So
yeah,
and we're almost getting to that, but the reaction to that is just goofy.
Best brother I could hope for. We disagree. He's a Christian, I'm not, but we get along. There would never be a rift between us over anything like this, and he would never think to do anything like this. He asked me a long time ago not to talk about mom and dad in specifics on the show because it's disrespectful, it's a little unfair. They didn't sign up to be on a TV show. They're just being
okay, you went back on that. And this brother that you're close to, you went back on doing that, you piece of garbage. You got the nerve.
He hasn't even finished listening to the point that Dillahunty's going to make, and he's already like, you went back on your word. Like, wait a minute.
This, I swear to God, give it 10 seconds of this video, and if you can scroll down into the live chat, I said this exact fucking thing. Give it literally 30 seconds about what he is about to say, and he will, and the fucking Tonlock will, like, he won't then go, alright, okay, yep, I was actually, okay, fair enough, I was kind of wrong there. Like, he won't do that, of course he won't, but it's just like, oh God, alright, yeah.
The nerve to lecture, you got the nerve to barely egg to your audience about what his parents are doing, about scoring familial relationships, when you betray the trust of your own brother, not talking about your parents because of some Bible verses, you piece of garbage?
So he's throwing mommy and daddy under the bus on a internationally available YouTube video because they sent him a birthday card with Bible verses on it.
Hoping that God will stop broad generalities about them because I love my parents and I'm not out to hurt. Yeah, clearly I'm not doing this to her.
Yeah.
My parents, they'll never see this show, or if they do, they'll just write it off the way they've written other things off. This is for all the other people out there who are dealing with this crap who think, well, Matt doesn't have to deal with this. Yes, they do.
No.
I was mad when I called my brother and I told him what I was going to do, that I was going to read the letter on the air, that I was going to get into specifics, that I was going to tell the past story, and that I was going to send a text message to mom, which I'm going to get to in a second. And he was like, yeah, they shouldn't have done that. You do whatever it is you need to do.
Boom. Right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Like, if he left it 20 seconds, he would have gotten to the point.
I have cooked with mushrooms that have more wit than Antonio. I mean, that just I mean, he completely and the weird thing is like it's silence too. Like, nobody's gonna be like, you know, Antonio, you fucked it up. Oh,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
No.
No, my mom knows that what she did was bullshit because she warned me on the phone. Oh, you're heavy on our heart. We want you to listen with an open heart and open mind. You knew what you fucking did was wrong. You knew this is not how you send a happy birthday to somebody. It's not how you show your love to somebody. This is what your religion has poisoned your mind with.
Your religion has poisoned you. You put some Bible verses in a birthday card in hope that I come to eternal forgiveness and salvation. You're wishing that I would be saved, and you know how terrible that is.
Well, I thought he said he didn't. I thought he said he didn't know if God existed. So I thought he said he didn't know if God existed. So how would he be poisoning him?
I know. By the way, this is like the third time we've gone over this over the last year, and every
there
year,
it is.
He said it. This is the third time we've gone over this in a year.
Yeah.
Benghazi had put up there, I think I highlighted the comment earlier, this video is like 2 years old.
Yeah.
So they've already gone over this several times in just the last year, 18 months. Yeah, but like, yeah, he's doing that. Oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah, it's interesting what he says. Like, how can he be? I mean, there are still movies that I watch that I laugh just as hard at now, even though I've seen them 20 times. But I have a hard time believing that he is still so completely blown away that he's laughing with the same vigor.
And I kind of wonder,
for lack of a better term,
does he think that Dillahunty here is being triggered because of the forces of evil within him? You know, like in an exorcism, you know, once you start going through the rites and, you know, saying the prayers and sprinkling the holy water, you know, usually the possessed person starts to, you know, freak out on him. Is that kind of like, because like, if he thinks that kind of influence of evil has anything to do with like atheists being blinkered into, you know, denying God, which it's a little difficult to know because he's really inconsistent about that stuff.
Well, no, it
this
does.
would be
This
is almost the equivalent of like somebody sitting and giggling at somebody, like, you know, somebody flipping out during an exorcism. Like, I wonder, like, he believes that shit. I don't.
Well, he does, because Romans 1.
Oh God, Lord.
That's why, because you know, everybody knows, because God's made it clear to us, we have no excuse. We are, you know, we're just, you know, we're denying it. You know, we're suppressing our truth, suppressing the truth and unrighteousness.
But don't you think that entails, like, if you were going to follow that from a theologically consistent perspective, it entails that the Christian should probably feel bad or express pity or compassion for somebody who is being deceived or self-deceived or deluded by the forces of evil. His response is derision, contempt, and mockery.
Right. The Christian would. But that's not what Darth is. And that's how he's able to look at this and just kind of laugh it off. Because he doesn't give a single fuck.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, to me, it's no different than, like, I mean, that Ding Dong Jill, you know, rebuke and reproof. He said it multiple times, like, I can't wait until the end of the world, because Christians will get to sit at the edge of the fiery pit and laugh at those who are suffering in eternal torment. I'm like, you know that some of those people are going to be your friends and family, right, man? No.
Yeah,
he just blows it off, just like, no, it's no big deal. I'm like, you're a psycho.
Yeah, but there is a Bible verse that says that you won't be sad. I forget what it is now. Somebody probably look it up. But there is a Bible verse that says that you won't have remorse when it happens.
Yeah.
But it's just like, how could you not? Like, if your partner, right? If you're like girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, whoever, you know, even if they don't believe in the right version of Christianity as you, and you end up being right, and this is somebody that you've spent your life with, that you potentially have like children with, that like they're being fucking raptured away and you're going to heaven and you're going to look at that and not feel fucking remorse? Are we like, what? Like, how can... Yeah.
Yeah, but Stephen, take heart. It's all bullshit, man. Like,
I mean,
it's all bullshit.
I had to look it up, because this is where they get it from. I always look, the part of it comes from Revelation, but Christians can justify it with this verse, even though I think this is being taken completely out of context. Behold, I will create new heavens and a new earth. The former things will not be remembered, nor will they come to mind. That's from Isaiah 65:17. That's probably not really talking about, since that's from the OT, the Hebrew Bible, that's not probably talking about the Christian idea of the afterlife, but that has not stopped Christian theologians from co-opting it for purposes such as that, because this is actually being quoted in an article answering the question, will we have memories of unsaved family and friends in heaven? And it was being answered by Dr. Roger Barrier. So,
Doctor?
Yeah, doctor. A doctor of theology. It's kind of like a doctor in chiropractic is better. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I recently did a discussion with just last week with Kenny Rhodes on Standing for Truth, and I would never say this, to him face to face. And this part, I'm going to say it anyway. I hope he never sees it. But like, and I feel the same way about William Lane Craig and all these other people. You know, Frank Turek, all these guys that have degrees in theology. It's like, you might as well have a degree in spellcasting. Because what you really have is you have an advanced degree in something that has never been demonstrated to be true. Congratulations.
Or I wish they would just basically come out and kind of like couch it in like D&D terms. You know, I've got a +5 understanding of theology or something like, you know, something like.
Thank you for throwing out a D&D reference. I've been playing for 40 years.
I mean, just give me something like that. Don't tell me like, well, you know, I went to school for the Bible. Like, really? I thought you could just go to church for that for free. But
yeah,
my bad. But then at the same time, the level of disrespect these guys show to people who become like biblical scholars who learn to read Greek, learn to read ancient Hebrew, learn to translate this stuff, and do things like Dr. Bowen or Bart Ehrman, like they don't, or Dr. Joel Baden, they don't take it literally, because they can actually like give you a comprehensive scholarly take on what those books of the Bible might mean. And their inconsistencies and stuff. No, they're misguided. They're being led by. Those are lies from Satan.
Yeah, you hit a nerve there. How can fucking anyone slag Josh Bowen? The guy is one of the nicest human beings I've ever encountered. He is the most, and I've said this before, he is the most humble expert I've ever spoken to. The first one to say, I'm sure there's someone who knows more about this than me. I haven't done all the secondary research. Humble, and kind and decent, and but he has a differing opinion. So clearly demon possessed.
And because he specializes in ancient Near Eastern, specifically like Assyriology, so he's got a specialty and will couch his opinions with that's not my area of expertise, or there's actually people who are better suited to answer this question than me, but I can let you know what I've heard from them. Those kinds of conditional, provisional statements, those are signs of weaknesses. Michael, and that's blood in the water for a lot of, and that's actually the weird thing about it. I've never seen this particular dynamic before because it didn't exist really in the churches that I went to. You get a different group, you get a different blend of this, but like winning at debates on the internet, Christianity, that breed of Christianity, any of that kind of stuff, that shit's just like blood in the water for sharks. It's chum for sharks. I've never seen anything like why on earth are you guys like attracted to that? Like, if you have an expert that takes their time to very carefully think about what they're going to say beforehand, and you're like, who is this moron? Like, that's the person you need to be worried about, especially if you think you're going to, quote unquote, pwn this person. That person is probably going to kick the shit out of you rhetorically, if any of this makes a difference. Like, if you're talking to some loudmouth like me that runs his mouth a mile a minute, I'm not that dangerous. Like, I don't know that much about what I'm talking about. You need to be worried about the ones who take their time and say things like, this isn't my area of expertise. However, I can quote you 5 people that are.
Yeah. My favorite line that Josh always uses is, have you read any of the secondary literature? I love it when he says that, because all you get is blank-faced, slack-jawed, duh, because fucking none of them have.
Which is odd, because they'll ask people like Pine Creek if he's read the secondary literature, which is like theological books. Like, have you read this book about how to read the Bible? Like, okay, it used to be you just want to know if whether or not, as an atheist, I'd actually gotten through the Bible. But now you want to know if I've read Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis and so-and-so's book, and William Lane Craig's book on this, or, no, I haven't gotten into that because I'm not a Christian and I'm not interested in reading apologetics. So, well, then you've just never really seriously engaged in theology. To which, at that point, I'd be like, have you actually ever studied a systematic theology textbook from an accredited university?
Yeah. When people say that to me, what I do is I quote Kent Hovind. And I say, the Bible says what the Bible says. You can find a gazillion YouTube videos of Kent Hovind. Well, you won't be able to find him soon because he's going to go back to jail for a little bit. But you can find lots of videos of him saying, "Oh, I need you to help me interpret the Bible. Why can't I just read it and do what it says?" And I just throw Kent Hovind right under the bus when people say, have you learned how to read the Bible? Well, Kent Hovind just tells me I can just read the Bible. I don't need an interpreter. You're telling me I need an interpreter?
Yeah. I just want to just quickly point out, according to my chat, I did a poll in my chat, and according to my chat, Darth does indeed have a baby dick.
Understood.
All right. Well, Steven's poll has confirmed Darth Dawkins, baby dick.
Okay. Are you going to get that published though? Is it going to be peer reviewed?
Let me know about how the peer review process goes on that thing.
Yeah, well, look, we've made a claim, and we need to substantiate that claim. So somebody needs to get in contact with Darth and ask him for some dick pics. Just kind of get that verified.
When you said it was the poll, I should have responded like enraged, like bandwagon fallacy. How dare you?
Yeah, it's funny.
Maya in your chat says I suspected as much.
I suspected as much.
Oh, that's fantastic. Sorry, fantastic.
I've never heard this, but listen to his anger. Listen to the deep. It's coming from a very deep-rooted place.
That's because they take Judgment Day very seriously, although they proclaim otherwise.
I can't believe it.
You can't even blow out a couple of candles without Jesus and the devil and the...
I can't even have a birthday on my 50th birthday without you mentioning that name, Jesus. This is terrible.
Evidently, his birthday is really
all this other
important.
crap. It is garbage.
Yeah.
So I sent my mom a text message that says, I got my card. I'm happy to have conversations on the phone and in person, but don't waste time and money sending me letters or cards in the future. I don't want them, and they'll go in the garbage without ever reading them.
Oh.
And she replied, we understand. Just heartfelt, love you much, Mom.
What an evil woman.
Like, he's not even really laughing. Like,
No,
that's so
no.
fake. It's so fake. Because, like, I've heard Darth, like, genuinely laughing. Like, I have heard him genuinely laughing. That's not his laugh. He's so
that's him
putting that on.
indulging.
Yeah.
He's just indulging himself. Yeah. Yep.
He's truly a low down, no good, ain't great piece of garbage.
Oh gosh, this is just too good. Too good.
You visited on the 19th of December. You opened a door. You have shelter. Don't ask us any more questions about our Bible. Have a happy birthday. And I replied, you don't understand. And you keep proving that. Because when she says, I opened a door on the 19th, I didn't. That door had been closed by them previous. Not going to have a conversation about this. And on the 19th, they were willing to have that conversation. So I didn't open that door. And the door that I'm closing now is not the door to conversation. I literally said in the text, I am happy to have conversations on the phone and in person.
Just don't send birthday cards with Bible verses on it. That's where I draw the line.
Just don't want this to be one-way communication. So she doesn't remotely understand because she thinks I'm closing the door to conversation entirely. And I'm just closing the door to passive-aggressive, cowardly bullshit one-way preaching because that's not a fucking conversation.
Wow. Dude, I mean,
You saw the election? You saw
He's open-minded to evidence.
Well, remember, listen. He just lacks belief in God. He doesn't deny God. He just lacks belief in God, folks.
That's not how you engage with people. That's not how you show your love. And while they're convinced that...
Why is he trying to impose his morality on others?
Oh, fuck off.
I thought atheists said it was inappropriate to impose people's moral convictions.
Coming back to Jesus,
Great point.
while they're convinced that this is the message that
So,
the Lord...
did
wanted
you
to send,
hear that?
I'm not
Did
gonna
you
take
hear
it,
that?
flip it.
Someone said great point after Darth finished out of that. Someone said great point. That was...
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
That was not even in the ballpark of a great point. Jesus Christ.
No, but it was it was a home run at cupping the balls.
Oh, it was. Yeah. It has a fucking...
To continue the baseball metaphor.
I mean...
And I have a... Well, let's see here. What was his first comment? I think I've developed an enemy, or at least a serious... Well, I don't know how serious a critic.
Uh-oh.
That's the way the guy laughs. It's far from fake. I'm an atheist, but love how Darth triggers atheists so much so that they even stream live shows about him. Jesus Christ, how sad is this? Okay, if you if you think that's the point of any of my streams, then you please stop watching.
Where is that in your in your live chat?
It's in my live stream. And he was talking with somebody else in the chat named Argy. Darth's laugh cracks me up more than these attention-seeking streams will ever do. Bunch of narcissists easily amused by a dumb 60-year-old fool who has no voice in the real world.
Oh yeah. There we go.
He doesn't really have much of a voice in the real world. However, he is influencing people both politically and religiously who do end up going out into the real world. So
yeah.
I mean, on top of Darth Dawkins being like, probably like one of the worst examples of like kind of a failed Christian just theologically, on top of it, you also have his political views, which are just insane. Like I'm pretty sure he's one of these guys that doesn't believe Biden won. I don't know where he stands with COVID. I'm pretty sure. I kind of suspect he's got the vaccine, but
he had the fucking bet with what's his face. This was like this is old now. This is going back like a year on Tom Rabbit's channel. He had like some guy on, and he made a bet that the COVID deaths in the United States wouldn't cross 60,000. This was in March, and he said it wouldn't cross 60,000 by Christmas. And it was like a month later that it crossed 60,000. So, like, I don't know, like, yeah, like, he's... I don't know. I don't think that... I don't know. I don't have enough evidence to kind of, say definitely that Darth is one of the guys who, doesn't think COVID is as severe as people are making it out to be. Like some people think that like it's nothing more than like a heavy flu, or that the numbers are inflated or anything else. I don't know that Darth is in that particular barrel of crazy, but I don't vaccinated. I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know. I think he's dumb enough that he thinks that like I don't know. It's like. They're talking about, that like we don't know the long-term effects of this. I mean, like, you don't know the long-term effects of taking a fucking aspirin like 20 years down the line. Like, it could have some fucking residual. Aside from the fact that the vaccine's gone in like 2 weeks, it leaves your system after 2 weeks. So like, I don't know. Like the whole thing. So I just kind of want to just go on like a little bit of a rant, because I was scrolling through TikTok earlier. Yes, I know, boomer moment. Not fucking boomer moment. Fucking what like whatever fucking category I'm in, and like there was like certain people that were kind of saying, that like we don't know what's in the vaccine and stuff like that. Like, dude, I don't know what's in paracetamol, but I still take it if I've got a headache. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know like all of the fucking ingredients in it, but I know what the effects of it are, which is that my headache will go away, and so that's why I'll take a fucking paracetamol if I have a headache. There is a virus out there. There is a vaccine for it. So like. Okay, it's been tested. It's been now FDA approved. I don't give a fuck what's in it. As long as if I am unfortunate enough to get COVID, as long as I know that my fucking effects of it are going to be lessened, I don't give a fuck what's in it.
Yeah, I think the only people who need to worry about what's in the vaccine are the incredibly small percentage of people that may have an allergy to an ingredient.
Exactly. Yeah. Or like someone who
the same people like doesn't the flu vaccine have like an egg byproduct in it or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
The yearly flu vaccine, like people have to be cautious of that, and to those people, like,
and it depends, because a lot of the ones that are coming out, especially like the quadrivalent ones, I think those are more serum based, so they're not even. I think they're actually kind of trying to phase out the egg ones because they're just easier to administer. You don't have to worry about the
and then you don't have that problem of ABC person cannot be vaccinated. Like there are people who may not be able to get it, and okay, cool. Please don't. If a medical professional has told you not to do so, please don't do it. Please, allow the vaccinated population to act as a, that barrier of protection through herd immunity for you.
I just think it's funny because like when they try to bring up that like, well, there's some people that can't, and like, okay, are you one of those people? No, then that means you definitely should for that person's sake. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you don't care about them enough to get that, then quit bringing them up as a reason why people can avoid it. That's stupid.
There was a meme that was floating around a week or so ago. I may have posted it on social media, and it was like the one person was two people, and the person on the left was saying, I love my country enough to die for it. And the person next to them was like, it's like, you don't even love your neighbor enough to get a vaccine to protect them. Sit down.
I just remember what Patton said too, and a kind of related. No fool ever won a war dying for his country. You win a war by making the other poor dumb bastard die for his country. I never really understood those, like, the patriotic, like, I'll die for my country. Like, yeah, I won't. Like, fight for it, maybe a little bit. Depends on the issue.
What? Yeah, but die for it? Like, that's asking a lot,
Yeah, like, well, as soon as, like, are you willing to die for your country? I'm like, how poor of a planner are you?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it sounds like you might not be the strategic genius.
You shouldn't be in charge.
But it's like, I mean,
all your people are gonna die.
If somebody asked you that around the dinner table, are you willing to die for this meal? You don't know how to cook, do you?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's like, I don't know, it like, the whole thing as well about, like, no, that, like, where some people, I say some people, it's only people in the US, sorry, Jeff, and my chat and Jeff's, where they will say, like, no, that, like, like, I'm a patriot and I believe in my freedoms and all of this thing, and I don't, and like, they're now adopting my body, my choice, because they don't understand what that means. And they're like saying that, like, no, it's my right as an American that I don't have to take a vaccine. George Washington had a fucking vaccine mandate. Are you going to call the founding father, the first president of your country, un-American?
Yeah.
And the fucking vaccine mandate he had, the cunt went fucking door to door and forced people to get so. Oh no! Sorry. I've been just inundated with so many of, like, these types of, like, videos where just like person after person after person is saying, no, I'm not getting it for this reason, or I'm not getting it for that reason, or I'm not getting it for this reason, and they're all fucking just brain dead, low IQ reasons. The only reason why you should not get a vaccine is if you have an actual adverse medical effect from getting that vaccine. Like, some people can get, like, blood clots if they get a vaccine. Some people can be allergic to one of the ingredients, and that can cause, like, very serious side effects. That is a reason to not get the vaccine. 100% I will 100% stand by that. Every other reason, bullshit. It's just brain dead fucking reason. Brain dead.
Yeah.
But let's get back into this video. Let's.
Sorry, I took it massively off topic.
No, we all did. But
it on its head and broadcast it to the entire fucking world that this is the exact opposite of what you should do if you're trying to convince somebody that yours is a true religion. About
you should never send a birthday card with Bible verses on it. Don't ever forget that.
Still deliberately missing the point.
With Bible verses.
Love that you care about people. This is not it. This threatening, passive-aggressive nonsense is not what it is. And so this is going to have the exact opposite effect of what they intended, because there are going to be thousands of atheists who see this, who are going to say, wow, that's the same crap I've dealt with my family, and it's breaking my heart, because it breaks my...
It's breaking my heart. My mommy sent me a birthday card with Bible verses on it.
Heart too.
I love the way that this guy will also unironically say that he's a fucking alpha male, and he's like, just look at how he's fucking acting. Like, aside from the fact that the whole thing of, like, alpha males and beta males, like, it's complete bullshit. Like, it doesn't actually exist. But you know that, like, he said, you know what I mean? Like, he would say it of himself.
Yeah. Don't you get kind of the impression from Darth, like, he's the kind of, like, creepy old uncle, like, at a family reunion, who will make fun of the developmentally disabled kid? Like, the cousin with... Yeah. He would be the one cracking, like, horrible jokes about, all night, well... Like, that just seems like that's his mode. That's
like, and he probably wouldn't be 7 or 8 drinks in before he started doing it.
Yeah, like, I can just imagine
precisely. Yeah.
I can just imagine, like, Darth, like, on his monthly escape from his mother's basement, when he's walking down the street, and like he sees somebody who's, like, I don't know, like, on crutches, like, who's, like, approaching him, and he's just thinking to himself, fucking limpy over there. Like, I can just imagine that you know what I mean, that's the type of shit that's just constantly in his fucking head.
Yeah.
Do we know, like, I mean, is it because I've heard this mentioned a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole
he lives in his mom's basement thing.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
Oh, really? How do we know
on
that?
On the same stream where so he was on S.J. Thompson's stream. It was the same one. It was the same one where he accidentally actually turned his camera on for like 5 seconds. Tom Rabbit had it up on his channel, but like he took it down after a little while. I like probably had his own reasons for doing it. But anyway,
it's not Darth.
Is it not?
It's not.
Oh, all right, okay. Well, anyway.
Darth did that to catfish Tom Rabbit.
Oh, all right.
The image, the video that he used is actually was a Christian who was very well liked in his own circles, and who had passed away. And Darth crassly used a little bit of clip of him to kind of look like he accidentally left his camera on S.J. Thompson's thing in order to bait Tom Rabbit into to grabbing it, because they're all laughing about it, and then they even mentioned Tom Rabbit. Oh, Tom Rabbit's going to pick that up.
Yeah.
Saw it, and he put it on, and then he started digging into it, and he's like, wait a minute, and then realized like, yeah, this is just Darth.
All right.
So
okay. Well,
when Darth Dawkins like doubles down and says liars are worse than pedophiles, Darth Dawkins has lied.
Well, yeah.
True. Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, look. Just like taking that kind of bundle of particular brand of weird and awful and putting it aside, on that same stream, you can hear a kind of like a very like obviously elderly female voice calling his name. Gary is his name. Like I'm not doxing him. Hundreds of people know what his actual name is. Like he's like calling him for like dinner or something, or he's just calling him to get his attention, and then like a minute later he says that like he has the old woman called his name, and then like a minute or so later he said that he has a dinner appointment that he has to get to.
Yeah.
So like it's the whole thing of like it was long suspected that he was one of those guys who's literally 60 and still living in his mother's basement, but then you hear the elderly female voice and then he says that, and it's kind of you're putting two and two together.
Now, I would say that if and this is, I'm granting a lot here.
Mm-hmm.
If it is true that he lives with his mother, but he did it for the right reasons, like for example he was helping to care for her in some way, that's honorable.
Sure.
But that wouldn't be the case if she's the one making dinner. Wouldn't he be the one making dinner?
Yeah.
Like I mean, like so it doesn't go too far. But that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it would be one of those things where it's like, yeah, but I mean, it's sort of the nature of it. Like, he's not witty enough to be self-deprecating about it. If he is there to, like you said, if he's there to kind of take care of her, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with living.
No, 100%.
But the way that he talks about himself and the way that he runs the other people down, it's like, okay, based on what we've heard from you, it kind of sounds like that's the kind of lifestyle you would rip into somebody for. And yet he's like, well, if you'll excuse me, I have a dinner date. And I'm like, with Chef Boyardee, you're server muted for life, like your mom warmed up some ravioli for you, huh? Yeah, he's a wreck.
The horror, the dog of humanity.
The religion in the Lord, it's going to be used to deliver more people from religious oppression, from being the sidelined individual that gets stuck in a corner at Christmas and other holidays because everybody else is talking about religion and talking about them while they're still in the room.
Does anybody think that he's not talking about something that happened to him? Do you think he showed up at some...
I think that was
like,
the point.
Yeah, that
he's
was the point.
Definitely talking about that happening to him.
Yeah, but I mean, like, aside from the fact that that happens, like, in a wide variety of different topics, like, like 20 or so fucking years ago, you could have had somebody who was, like, outed as being gay, and now they're at, like, a family event, and they're all fucking talking about him. You know what I mean? Like, even sometimes, and this is, like, awful, but even sometimes now, somebody who is openly trans, like, it's the same sort of thing. Like, they're all talking about them as if they're not in the room, but they are. Like,
right.
this shit still happens. You know what I mean? And, like, with, like, some kind of, like, uber... fanatically religious family, if there's an atheist there, yeah, they're gonna fucking talk about like what, like, yes, this happens. That was the point. And he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's startling that he missed that.
yeah.
Christmas family event, and they're talking about Matt the atheist. Well, why are you showing up at Christmas?
He just threw them
What?
under the bus.
Were you hoping to get something in your stocking?
Oh, well, Matt's still an atheist. You bet he is.
Oh, you're supposed to stop hanging out with family.
You see,
You don't
he
even know
was
what
talking
family
about
is.
something that happened to him.
Didn't do anything but break.
Of course he was, you degenerate. Of course he was. I'm just going to keep calling Darth a degenerate now because Smokey has really triggered him with the use of that word. So
Yeah, he has.
Oh, with Mr. Van Til, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My heart.
It broke his heart. Mommy sent a birthday card with Bible verses on it, and it broke his heart.
I said it earlier that he'd be upset about it. Of course he'd be upset about
I
it.
am on
He
the
wouldn't be
side of
fucking
righteousness
doing
that
it.
of the three
Yeah.
of us, I'm the only one who has a good understanding of.
Did you guys catch that? Did you catch what he just said?
Yeah, he said he's on the side of righteousness.
He's on the side of righteousness. How is there anything righteous in a not God world? All you have is molecules in motion, baby. He's on the side of righteousness.
And in
That's
a,
right,
in a divine command theory world, all you have is the subjective commands of a God you can't hope to understand. So,
Yeah. But molecules in motion, that's puppeting Frank Turek to the fucking.
but
letter.
you know what? If those molecules were put in motion by God, it's a beautiful thing. Science is beautiful, a gift granted to us by God. Unless there is no God, and then it's just bullshit. All of it. It's just crap slamming into crap, like watching old people fuck. Oh my God, what a mess! What a disgusting, chaotic nightmare nature is.
Yeah.
Oh, but God made it thus and so in His perfect, orderly mind. Like, I mean, just this the schizophrenia that you.
Yeah. One of the things I love hearing-
There's someone in your chat, Jeff, who's just like, Darth is just jealous because he doesn't get birthday cards.
Ouch. Ouch. Open wound. One of the things that I found so funny, one of the best kind of quips that I ever heard was when Robin Williams was talking about God, and he said, you know how I know there's no God? And whoever interviewed him said, how? He said, because no intelligent designer would ever put an amusement park next to a waste management facility.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson once quoted that in a
Oh,
lecture
did he
he
as
was
well?
giving. Yeah.
Listen,
Stuck in a corner at Christmas and other holidays because everybody else is talking about religion and talking about them while they're still in the room. Oh, well, Matt's still an atheist. You bet he is. This didn't do anything but break my heart and cement the fact that I am on the side of righteousness, that of the three of us, I'm the...
he's on the side of righteousness.
I like how he wants to go on the internet and shame his own family name, but he doesn't expect his family to ever talk about it.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, he just this seems to have come out of the blue. I don't know if somebody mentioned this while he was in a conversation on Discord, but he decided to revisit it because it makes him feel good, I guess.
He's a public figure for crying out loud.
So God, wait a minute. So God denialism is the side of righteousness. Wait a minute. I got it now. So promoting a lack of belief is the side of righteousness. Everybody catch that? Lack of belief is
Wow, I wonder how much more he could overdo this. Like this is painful.
is the side of righteousness.
And if you got such thick skin as an atheist, then get over it, damn it. If they talk about you in the room, get over it. You're the one telling them to get over it.
Antonio, you mute people for disagreeing with you about politics that you often don't understand. So this is sad coming from him. Antonio, read a book.
I'm not going to go back to Jesus. Get over it. If they're going to talk about you, get over it, moron.
How many times has he talked about them to the entire...
I guess, yeah, in a way there is some asymmetry here, right? Because if you're an atheist, you didn't sign up for persecution. But if you're a Christian, depending on the emphasis of the particular denomination you're involved with, persecution is a fringe benefit. Like it's how you it's a way of knowing that you're on the right path.
Oh, Matthew 10:34 says, "Do not think I came to bring peace. I didn't come to bring peace, but a sword." Some versions say division, but it says, "I have come to turn family member against family." I forget the exact words, but family member against family member. You are completely expected to be persecuted, even by the ones you love the most.
Yep. So it's just and it's great how that works out, because if people react negatively to you, it just reinforces that you must be doing everything right.
It's the confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Or internet. And this
Other holidays because everybody else is talking about religion and talking about them while they're still in the room. Oh, well, Matt's still an atheist.
Oh, Matt's still an atheist. He's pissed. You see? He's still pissed. He's still having a hemorrhoidal attack because he went to a holiday event and he overheard somebody say, "Matt's still an atheist." Ooh, what cruelty!
This didn't do anything but break my heart and cement the fact that I am on the side of righteousness.
That's like when Michael, as Don Corleone, says to his brother, "You broke my heart."
The three of us, I'm the only one who has a good understanding of love, of civility, about.
Wait, what was the connection there?
Let a lot of other atheists know that.
Did you hear that?
I didn't get it either.
What was the connection there? What did he just hear the same thing that was once said in a movie and then draw the connection? What the fuck?
And it is telling that I think Godfather 2 is the most recent pop culture reference I've heard from Darth Dawkins in the past couple of weeks worth of videos that I've seen.
Well, yeah, because he spends all his time on Discord. He doesn't have time to go to the movies. Aside from the fact that that's outside, which is his kryptonite, but
I won't like The Godfather too much. I think The Godfather might be the greatest movie ever made. The first one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like the second one better, like a lot of people. The third
one. I do like the second one. I do like this, but yeah, for some reason I just prefer the first one. But you're wrong. You're just. I mean, you can like the second one. You're just wrong.
Okay. Enrique said he's mentioned Avengers before. Yeah, that's true. I have heard him mention the Marvel heroes. So, and he does watch SNL. I don't know if he just watches old reruns or if he watches any of the new stuff. But
he watches the old reruns. The new stuff was way too liberal for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It's better than they do how to treat other people. You mean like how you treat people who call into your show?
You mean Dylan Bloviator? And you mean
insult people on a weekly basis? How you show vitriol on a weekly basis because people have different beliefs than you?
Yeah. Well, listen. He knows how to treat people.
This is not anything but break my heart and cement the fact.
By the way, what the heck is on his wrist? Are those rubber bands?
It's a fucking bracelet, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's what they are.
The scars.
They look like they're rubber bands.
No, they're LGBT bracelets to hide his scars from when he used to cut art.
Oh wow!
Wow!
How in the fuck did you get there?
I just posted the link of him as a tranny here on the Atheist Experience group on Facebook, and I'm experiencing a shitstorm.
Wait, what did Antangelo say there? He posted him as a fucking yeah. What did he say there?
Darth, I just posted the link of him as a tranny here on the Atheist Experience.
Use the T slur. All right, okay, yeah. So
yeah. So Antangelo's keeping it classy. He knows his audience. This is going to play well with Darth and his chuckling.
Well, that's true. That is true. But that's not what. Okay, so there is a difference between someone who is trans and between someone who occasionally goes in drag. Matt went in drag because there was someone a couple of weeks previous to that. I used to be a massive fan of AXP. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I used to watch it every single week. Anyway. There was a person who a couple of weeks prior to that made the point of no, it matters who the argument is coming from. And Matt vehemently disagreed with that because of course it doesn't matter who the argument is coming from. The arguments stand or fall on their own merits. And he went in drag to prove a point. That it doesn't matter who the argument is coming from, the arguments stand or fall on their own merits. So that's the reason why he went in drag.
Yeah. But I love the LGBTQ, therefore self-harm.
Yeah.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yep, it's yeah, and then we can use the we're gonna call them trannies too. So let's it's weird how quickly they just like veer off course and like, okay, well we're gonna get into some real blatant transphobia, you know, and it's gonna take about 3 seconds for them to get there.
Look at them experiencing a shitstorm.
Yeah, you see, Otangelo, I am a bad influence on you. They are right. You should be hanging around. I'm a bad influence on you.
I don't know how Otangelo does it. You'd have to be kind of witless to hang around with Darth Dawkins.
One here is claiming that I'm insulting Matt just because I wrote here Matt Dillahunty confesses that his girlfriend is Origin of Eden, then I confess I'm surprised. That's why I am insulting Matt. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what did he say there?
Angelo has the same opinion of trans people that his former friend DD does.
Do you think Matt Dillahunty trying to tell us that his girlfriend has a package between his legs?
Between his legs.
I'm on the side of righteousness. That of the three of us, I'm the only one who has a good understanding of
Wait,
love.
I'm kind of like, sorry, I'm like massively kind of out of the loop here. Is Matt actually dating Art of Eden? Is that what like actually happening? I don't like care. It's just something that was kind of said there as if it was true. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the inside joke on that or what that is, but like if that's the thing I find weird about this is like, why would you care? There are lots of LGBTQ couples and relationships in the country and across the world already, but because you know this guy and you know he's an atheist for some reason, you know, we got you. Like, how? Like, based on everything that you've heard from Matt Dillahunty, did you you know, this is not a skeleton in his closet if it's true.
Yeah, and also,
according to to Jeff's chat, apparently yes, Matt is dating Arden of Eden. Which, all right, okay, yeah, I mean, good for him. She's hot, so good. Yeah, good for Matt. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And it's like the only thing I think is and.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like. Yeah, and I'm sure I did dip out of the live stream at some point. I don't think I've seen anything past this point. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure they're going to say now that like, oh, that like Matt is like, that Matt is like gay because he's now dating Arden and she used to be like, okay, then I guess you're a pedophile because you're dating somebody who used to be a child. So it doesn't matter. They're not a child anymore. You know, it's the whole.
It's interesting. Yeah, and I only saw a picture of Arden of Eden once, and I saw a picture first, and it's interesting because I thought the same thing the first time I saw a picture of Stephanie Guttormson. I don't know if any of you know who that is.
No, I don't.
She used to, trans woman, used to work for the Richard Dawkins Foundation several years ago. And she used to she used to do like a little segment on the Dogma Debate podcast. And I heard her voice. I was like, oh, okay. And so I looked her up and I saw a picture. I'm like, oh my God, what a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, I found out that she was trans. I'm like, oh yeah, beautiful woman. So fucking what? Like, chalk that up to the list of doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it's like, but look, the whole thing about like, you know, especially with like people who, you know, like pass as well as Arden does, you know, like the amount of effort, the amount of thinking that you have to do to intentionally misgender Arden is unbelievable. Like, how do you look at somebody who like presents as Arden does and say that's a man right there? Like, what? Like, what? No, of course not. As if anybody would like ever look at me and say that's a woman right there. It's like, oh, okay, we have really different standards on what like typically constitutes either of those two. But look, anyway, It's just incredible to me, the level of kind of, you know, like apprehension and thinking that you have to do before you make the statement of intentionally misgendering her. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, I don't normally. Yeah, I don't know what it would take actually for somebody like Darth Dawkins to get over that. He's just too ignorant and too hateful and too spiteful to really let that go. So
it's going to let a lot of other atheists know that you are not alone.
You are not alone. He's quoting the Man of Steel. You remember that? When the alien spaceship was hovering and he goes, "You are not alone."
Again, what's with the reference? It doesn't make any
sense. One of the best things you can do.
I think I put this in the live chat too. How many movies have used the phrase "You are not alone"? It's not exactly original writing, and he quotes that particular movie. It's like that. I wouldn't be able to. Like, I'm usually pretty good at picking out like a quote from a lot of movies, but it's like that ain't one of them. It's like you know that one movie where they say, "Hey, we got company." Like, yeah, try to narrow that one down a little bit.
Exactly. It's a little bit more vague than, you know, punch it, Chewie.
Yeah, or like if somebody on a random live stream somewhere was to be like, "Hey, I'm walking here," you get immediately what reference. You know what I mean? You can immediately point to that movie, but like, we're not alone. Like that, I'm pretty sure it's been said in like thousands of movies. How you're narrowing it down.
What triggers him to do, you know, to like riff on like a movie reference or a TV reference is just really odd.
Is draw boundaries around your life. I had to make a decision the other day before I sent that text message. If this ends my relationship with my parents, am I okay with that? And the answer was yes. Wow. It's not going to end the relationship with my parents. They're going to write it off and dismiss it and go back to not talking about it.
Oh, and I did want to bring this up because Benghazi had made a point of mentioning several times. This video is from March 31st, I think, or March 30th, or something like that of 2019.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird that like they get into the whole thing with him wearing these LGBTQ, I guess because they're rainbow bands and self-harm and all that kind of stuff. But like, okay, he wasn't actually go on there like transphobic riffing, right? He wasn't dating Arden then. This was from 2019.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have even known who Arden was. So like, yeah, they wanted to like get into that automatically, and I thought these guys were against gossip.
Oh no.
Really?
And
why would you be okay?
Did the person who posted it say that it was from June? Because if it was June, it would have been Pride Month. So, even less weird that he'd be wearing something LGBT during Pride Month.
Yeah.
Because this was I don't know.
Not that you can't wear something like that
right up until the point where one of
especially if he's got something like if there's something pride oriented going on in Austin, he could be wearing it for that.
This dies.
We should all get together, and I think his birthday's in March. Somebody said his birthday was in March. We should all get together, hundreds of us, and individually send birthday cards with Bible verses to Matt. Right?
Well, that's just antagonism.
Those conversations.
What?
Wait a minute, sending birthday cards?
That's just so weird.
And then make a skin crawl. Then you're just doing evil.
What?
Really?
Yeah, I get your point.
Oh, maybe we could send him a case of Preparation H to soothe those.
There you go.
Hilarious. It's hilarious, sir.
Lubrication. The other atheists out there, we're trying to figure out how to draw these boundaries. Whether they should come out, whether they should cut people out of their life. Those are decisions that only you can make. You get to decide your boundaries. And if there are people that are toxic in your life, but that's still a valuable relationship to where you're willing to put up with it, then go right ahead. And when you reach the breaking point,
when you reach the breaking point, and you might, when you get those birthday cards with Bible verses on it, that's when you're going to snap.
You got to put your foot down. Today I'm 50 years old.
I'm going to put my foot down. No more birthday cards.
Hilarious.
With Bible verses on them, like
years.
Finish the.
He forgot it. Like, he's been consistent with the bit, and then Darth, he couldn't even keep it up for what? This is only 24 minutes in.
Well, then again, like let's be somewhat charitable. Darth is 60. He probably can't keep it up anyway.
But he's got a baby dick, right?
That is true.
Established. It doesn't take much to keep one of those up.
That's true. That's true. It's not an awful lot of blood flow that needs to go there, but even still.
No. Yeah, I mean, you can probably function perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Stand up, go for a jog, yeah, be completely erect. It's not getting in the way.
We're going to continue on with the insults. It's not like any of the blood's going to his brain.
We only have to talk about
He's so great. He's so courageous.
for the rest of our lives. Okay, that's fine. I'm all right with that. I'd like to talk about deeper things on occasion. But don't pretend that I closed the door to conversation, because I didn't. What I did was I said, you don't get to keep doing this.
You do not get to keep sending birthday cards with Bible verses on it. Do you
There you
understand?
go. He's back.
Me, because this is my life, and it's not good for my life. And I hope that everybody out there who's having to deal with this stuff makes the decision that is in the best interest of them living a productive life without poisonous individuals trying to pollute it.
I think he's preaching right now.
Well, that's because he's on the path.
You hear that? You hear that? He's calling his parents poisonous.
Yeah, you said you get a.
Antonio, people can have pretty noxious parents. It's a thing. You're fortunate if your parents are, not that way. You had loving parents, but not everybody does.
Yeah, like there are organizations like CPS and in Canada CAS, and I'm not sure what the equivalent is in Ireland, but there are agencies like that because some parents are assholes.
Yeah. Maybe Antonio's like, no, I only have one parent. That's God.
Nice.
Sorry.
Buy a birthday card with Bible verses on it, and you're poisonous. You're toxic.
And she didn't close the door. If religions are true, I want to know that, and that's why we have to have conversations. And if they're not true, I want to know that too. But if they're true and fucking terrible,
now remember, he's
What
using
the hell?
he's using the F-bomb here over a birthday card.
Now, what the hell does it matter if in this view they're terrible? That wouldn't make it any less true. You don't want to claim to be a truth seeker, you jackass.
Because
It
he's
wouldn't make it-
anti-God.
Whoa, jackass! You kissed your mother with that mouth, Antonio?
Yeah. But I mean, Matt has said. I'm pretty sure he said earlier in this stream even, but he said on a number of different occasions anyway that if the God of the Bible turned out to be true, that he would acknowledge that he's there and that he's real, but he wouldn't worship him. That's basically exactly what he just said there. It's
because those are two totally different things.
Well, yeah, the God would exist, but he's still a dick.
But no, the only way that the God can exist is if it meets all of Darth Dawkins' criteria of great making properties and stuff, and it's definitely not a dick. At least it's not any bigger a dick than Darth Dawkins is, which means we're talking about a deity that's baby dick size. So really, it's something that anyone can handle.
Right.
In a not God world, nothing matters anyway. There's no rhyme or reason why anything is. So your complaining is no different than somebody having flatulence or burping, okay? Or a rock rolling down a hill.
to pollute it at every turn. If religions are true, I want to know that, and that's why we have to have the conversations. And if they're not true, I want to know that too. But if they're true and fucking terrible, they need to get out of my life, out of your life, out of politics, out of everything that happens in this world, because that is not the way to progress, to love, to cherish, to interact with anybody ever.
Right. Anyway, what? There's a standard? There's a standard on how to love people?
Do you hear the peanut gallery? Did you hear the peanut gallery? Let me play that back again. Listen for his minions, okay? His flying monkeys, as Tom Rabbit would say.
His fucking minions.
Fucking terrible. They need to get out of.
Yeah, he's going to talk about minions.
Yeah, coming from Despicable Me himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of your life, out of politics, out of everything that happens in this world, because that is not the way to progress, to love, to cherish, to interact with anybody ever.
Listen, man. Listen, man.
For indulging my rant.
Did he just admit you were true?
Yeah. Just listen to them, man, clapping like a bunch of seals.
Hear from kids who've been kicked
out
of their parents.
Yeah, because only insane people would clap at
Or something like
speech.
that. It's funny though. I guess Darth here does have a point, because he doesn't get much of any talking. Like there aren't many voices other than his ever going on in any room he's ever in, and he makes sure of that. So maybe it's a novel thing for him to hear other people interacting.
It must be. That's an interesting point. What I'm interested in this. If this happened in Discord, was this some kind of like stage thing that he did, like invitation only? Because like at no point during this entire thing does anybody kind of jump in or try to do like a little, what he calls a drive-by trolling or anything.
Yeah,
They wouldn't dare.
Well, I think that there's some that would.
Well, no,
Although, I don't know. The
I
ones
mean that very tongue in cheek, right? Because he's just, here's your duct tape, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know,
true.
his thing, right? Like, so I mean, and no one, I shouldn't say no one because I guess there may be some people who would do it, but you don't disagree with him either. He talks about, I'm fine with people disagreeing with me. Well, no, you ain't.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's definitely not.
Yeah, like no, you're not, and that is just true.
I mean, like, look, right, and again, no offense to Jeff or anybody in my chat or in his, but I mean, the American people, they clap at like everything. They clap when a plane lands. They clap when a movie is over. They clap. You know what I mean? Like it's like
that's kind of true.
It's just what Americans do. You know what I mean? It gets to a certain point, and it's just kind of like it's just the socially acceptable thing to do at that moment where you just clap. It's like okay, when a plane lands, all right, okay, I could somewhat understand that you're celebrating the fact that you didn't crash into a mountain and die. But when a movie
I think those are a little those are a little insulting because it's like, look, the pilots and the crew don't want to die either. Like they did their job. Don't clap. Like
it's funny. It's funny. I've always looked at that because the only time so just recently, my wife and I went to Newfoundland on the east coast of Canada because we couldn't go anywhere else because COVID. But Mexico's our favorite place to go down south. We love it there. And every time the plane lands in Mexico, we clap because fucking vacation time, woohoo, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so in my mind, that was always like, yay, we're on vacation, not yay, the pilot's is not a incompetent knob. But when we got to Newfoundland, nobody clapped because it was just, like just people either going home or going to see family. It wasn't a vacation thing. So,
yeah. But the whole thing just after a movie though, like who are you clapping? The actors can't hear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you? Why?
I don't see that.
If it was the premiere where the cast was, then I could get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't actually heard clapping in a theater in a long time. It used to happen. I used to go and see a movie about every week back when I was in my early 20s, but now the theaters are kind of pointless. I've got a nice TV now. So
yeah, it's the same as I used to go to arcades all the time, and now the video game systems you have are better than arcades.
Yeah.
All right, I have one in my back. I have one in my back.
Shut up with your PS5, asshole.
How do you? Yeah, I don't. Did you have to kill someone to get that, or like rob it from a truck?
No, I just went down and pre-ordered it in February, and it didn't come out until October, November. I can't remember the initial release date of it, but yeah, I got it on day one, which like I love saying because I know that it triggers so many people. Just that I've been waiting months. I've been waiting months.
Yeah, I can't find one. I've tried doing like the mods and stuff too. I can't find them. Anyway, that's gonna send me spiraling. So let's get back to
homes. We've helped some of them find new homes. I hear from people all the time, I'm dealing with this with my family, I'm dealing with this with my family. And by the way, if you're a Christian and you listen to all that and you're calling in to apologize on behalf of your religion or my parents, don't bother. It's not your issue, and your apology does nothing with regard to that. That's not the way my religion is. Congratulations. Yours might be better. I don't know.
You know what the look he has on his face right now? It's that look when you're constipated and then you
there he goes.
Relieve yourself.
That's not.
That sense of satisfaction on his face.
No.
He just dropped his pants and took a dump on mommy and daddy.
That's. Okay. If so, what satisfied him? The fact that he's relieved himself from constipation or that he crapped on his parents. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Like that's just he's got to get better at this. And unfortunately, it's too late for him, I think. He's too old. He's not gonna his game is not gonna get any better.
No. No, it's really not.
You notice how he said that the Christians have to get out of everything in the entire world?
Yeah.
That's the hate that's coming. Yep.
Oh,
that's because you guys keep doing things like wanting to legislate from a Christianity that has become Old Testament fan fiction. That's the kind of stuff that people are reacting to. Like, for whatever reason, you guys didn't clue in on the fact that Jesus died for your sins, and you literally have a New Testament to talk about that. But you yabos are running around doing stuff in society as if we, just like the ancient Israelites, if the country gets things wrong, we get cursed by God, or God withdraws his protecting hand. Like, none of that is supposed to apply anymore because you're Christian. Like, I could see you thinking that was the case if you were still like into like ancient Judaism, but you're not supposed to be.
Why it makes no sense. It's such a weird thing. Why would right-wing hardcore Christians want to be doing things that are, tantamount to Levitical law if we're under this new covenant?
Yeah, and like some of these guys are like, I don't understand why these people are worried about it. Like these secular people, they want us out of stuff. Like, well, then you need to look up Seven Mountain Dominionism to see why some people are concerned about that. Because being a Christian and being in the world but not of the world is no longer part of their gospel. They think that they need to take over the government. They need to run it in a godly way so that God will continue to bless it. Because every time a hurricane happens, it's because a gay marriage happened the month before. That's old. That's just OT thinking. That's bullshit.
If God is blessing the U.S., he is a sarcastic fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
With an unbelievable sense of humor.
I mean, like, just like aside from the fact that, like, let's not like kid ourselves. Every single one of like Darth's minions are all like hardcore conservatives, and it's just really kind of strange to me that none of them that they hate the First Amendment so much, where it clearly states that there should be a separation of religion and government. So,
the founding fathers were all Christian.
Wait, no, but like what I'm saying is that the separation of church and state is in the Constitution, and now they're kind of bellyaching and complaining about, oh no, Matt wants to take religion out of government. Well, so did the people who made the country.
Well, it kind of, but I mean, like, what the one thing that they'll try to hide behind the fact that it doesn't explicitly state it, but we've got a treaty that does. Or they'll try to duck around the fact that the one weird defense that they never bring up is the fact that the states constitutions do have the right, and it did establish state religions. It was the Constitution made it so that the federal government couldn't do that, but states could, and two did, but that it didn't hold because that's confusing, and people tended to hate it. So yeah, I don't the idea, it would be one thing for them, like, in a way, I think the best way to argue that whole kind of thing, if they get super worked up about it, is say, you know what, you're right. We do need state religion, because some of the countries that still have an established state-funded religion, I mean, are great examples of secular governance. If you think about, let's say, Denmark, which the government, if the government wasn't funding the repair and upkeep of its cathedrals, they would simply collapse from non-use. England is another good example, right? It still has a Church of England, but the majority of people in the UK are not Christian.
Yeah.
So,
very true.
Well, I mean, look, if we wanted to kind of talk about like people in like England with kind of like institutions that are like basically pointless now, they still have a monarchy, and they are literally the most famous unemployed family in existence. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a gig. Yeah.
Oh no, 100%. Like, it really, really is. But yeah, just doesn't. Yeah, sorry. Continue.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yep, I got to duck out, guys. I have a super early morning. Sadly, I work for a living. But yeah, and I'm an old man. So I just put my email in the side chat. Jefferson, it was great to meet you. I'd love to keep in touch with you.
Oh sure. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, thanks
Steven,
for coming up.
Steven, you bastard. Stop keeping Kevin in a box. let him out every once in a while. And,
I let him out for food and water and to stretch his legs every now and again. So he's okay.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's a good thing. And yeah, I didn't say this before. I love this before, but congratulations on the new job. Glad you're so happy with it.
Thanks, man.
And we shall chat soon. Bye, chat. If you want to throw my email into your chats, help yourself. I love having conversations with people, so and keep the conversations going.
Cool.
But good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night. All right, Stephen, let's finish this up. I think we've got like 5 minutes to go, maybe?
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Well, you want to hear your call.
No, Matt's gonna say, and if you get a birthday card as heinous as the one I did, make sure you call your mom. You tell her to fuck off.
It's heinous.
This is heartbreaking to see families.
It's heartbreaking to see these Christian parents send birthday cards to their atheist children, and they put Bible verses on them.
You depart by something that's
so weird.
You know, just
that
the idea or that the religion's more important than the relationship.
Yeah.
And I see, thankfully I don't have to deal with a family like that. But
well, we shouldn't be so hard on Matt Dillahunty. I mean, his parents have been so nerve-wracking, so toxic.
So Darth-like.
It caused him to even his hair fall out.
I've been to funerals.
Another bald joke.
Where they talk more about Jesus than they do that person who died. And weddings.
He's, I mean, like, look, you got nothing. Like, what are you gonna also call him like? Oh, well, he's also gray.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like okay, we haven't made our token ball joke in about 20 minutes. Let's throw another one in there because why not? It had nothing to do with what they were talking about.
I kind of think that maybe Darth only has two things that he's proud of: his religious convictions in Christianity, evangelical fundamentalism, and the fact that he might still have a full head of hair by his definition of it. So,
I mean, let's do emphasis on might.
Might. Yeah, right. Yeah, he could be projecting. Sure. Yeah, the Doubting Thomas writes, of all the Christians I have known personally, none act like this, ever. Yeah, I have never met a Christian in my life as obnoxious as this old creep. Nobody.
For that matter. And it just stuns me that everything's pushed aside, relationships are pushed aside in the name of this religious idea that just divides people.
Yeah, and Christianity, people who are like, oh, but Matt, no, I understand where it's coming.
Guess what? He was right. This religious idea that divides people, Jesus said, I came not to bring peace, but to bring a sword.
It's coming from the poison that's in their brain. I understand that from their perspective.
Wait a minute. I thought Matt was undecided. I thought Matt lacked belief.
Yeah, exactly.
But now their mental states, it's not that he's unconvinced, is that their mental states are poison. Does that sound like somebody who's withholding judgment?
No. They thought this was a loving, necessary message.
Even if it's the case that Matt Dillahunty is promoting a kind of lactism, which I don't think he does. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but even if he did, I wouldn't care. But if just because he lacks a belief in God, how is it entailed that he has to lack a belief in everything else?
Yeah, like it just doesn't. Like,
yeah, I mean, other than, you have to accept Darth Dawkins' goofy-ass precept script where the only way that you can understand revelation is subjective experience is revelation, and that comes from God. And there's no way of escaping that. I would love him to actually defend the fact that, like, you can't presuppose God in that way. You presuppose the subjective experience part and then use that to infer your God. So you're fucking up. And then to try to shoehorn this stuff in there as if this is just not only does everyone else understand this fact, but even any of his minions understand that's where he's coming from. Like, oh, well, you lack belief in God. Well, then you don't really have it. You don't. Why are you taking a stance on anything? That makes no sense. Like, you know what? I'm not sure. I think I lack a belief in Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I'll take whatever you get me from the restaurant. Like, I don't have any preferences. So just feed me something. Or don't, I don't want to commit to that either.
Yeah.
Like it's just his inability to just kind of rein in his bankrupt philosophy it's pretty stunning. Like don't follow this down these rabbit holes and then expect people to think that these are intuitive. That isn't intuitive. And then he gets touchy when he talks to even some fellow Christians that are just like, what the hell are you talking about, man? Like, that doesn't make sense. You have to acknowledge Jesus to be able to state the fact that the Eiffel Tower exists in France.
So yeah,
that's one of my favorite examples from him. Like, that's bonkers, dude. I don't know, but there's no other way to put that.
Yeah, like I just don't though. Like I don't have to do that. Like, it exists. What do you want me to say? Like, and even if for some like wacky kooky reason I didn't think that the Eiffel Tower existed, I could be very easily proven wrong on that. I can't be very easily proven wrong on my opinion about whether or not a God exists.
Right.
They're not
some
the
strange
same.
reason. Yeah, and for some strange reason, it's like, based on what I know, I could be wrong about the Eiffel Tower and where it is because I may not be informed, I'm ignorant of that, or something like that.
Exactly.
However, but here's the problem, though. I do know that there's an Eiffel Tower, but you're telling me that I'm wrong to believe that because I don't also acknowledge God. So it's like, I know that the Eiffel Tower is in Paris, France, but I don't really know that because I haven't surrendered to Christ yet. Like, no, dude, that's not how medieval philosophies didn't even work that weird. Like, and I'm not exactly sure how. Like, I know he claims he's read lots of Van Til, and I'm suspecting that he's mainlined more Bonson stuff than anything else. But I think he's missed some points because it's just too contradictory.
Yeah,
I understand that's what they think.
No, you're fine. Go on.
Okay.
They are fucking wrong.
Oh.
And I can't take that anymore. I'm sure everything will go back to its new normal and we'll just pretend that nothing ever happened. But yeah, so at 50, that's where I put my foot down. And
wow, he's so
job,
brave.
Good job.
He put his foot down, folks. He put his foot down. Don't you dare, don't you ever send a birthday card with Bible verses again.
Listen, you want to send me money, you do it, but I don't want to.
Are we not getting any sound? Can you hear me?
No, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh.
Kind of strange that, yeah, I see that Red Fang is putting in that there's no sound. It's kind of strange.
Nothing's muted.
Either chat, just tell us if you can hear the video.
Or if I'm sitting there in the family room at a holiday or a gathering and everybody starts giving their thoughts on politics or religion where we may differ, I no longer sit quietly. I'm willing to chime in.
Okay, yeah. Shape-shifting monkey says I can hear. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Sorry, Red Fang. Yeah, I don't think it's coming on our side.
Yeah. Maya says, Mr. Leach, Doubting Thomas. Yep, they all hear us.
You're not okay.
And that actually shuts down the conversations fairly quickly because when they realize that it's going to be a conflict and there's going to be back and forth, and that they might not be as equipped as they thought they were.
Yeah, because it's dinner. You know, wants to fight.
Yeah, the conversation changes to that.
Yeah, you generally don't bring politics to the table. Exactly.
Yeah, listen to them. When we're at a quiet dinner and I chime in, people stop. Yeah, because it's called being classy, and they know it's going to lead to like arguments. Idiot.
Even if your family on ain't as equipped to talk to you, there's many very intelligent people that you avoid on a daily basis that are very much equipped to talk to you.
I like how Antonio makes this about him and like his interactions on social media. Like, I mean, it couldn't have been any clearer than Matt Dillahunty is talking about interpersonal relationships with family members, especially around the holidays. And Antonio's like, well, there's plenty of people here that'll stand up to you. Like, dude.
Like, yeah, I'm sure there probably is, but this isn't about you or the people that you know. This is about Matt and his own personal experience.
Yeah, they just seem to assume that Matt's like, he's all debate me, bro, with his family members. Like, I didn't get that impression.
No, but he hasn't. Like, he said at the start of that, I think that kind of caught it. Like, that wasn't the full video that they were reacting to there, because it wasn't a YouTube video. It looked like it was like a video that somebody had downloaded and like had like caught the first bit of it, because it wasn't like an actual YouTube clip there that's like in the background there. But he said at the start of it that like he's had conversations from time to time, and he went up one Christmas to their house and he spent like 6 hours talking to them about religion, and they left that conversation going, look, nobody's changed our minds here, but you clearly know this stuff, you know, like better than we do. But then again, Matt was studying to be a pastor, so it's kind of like understandable that he would know it. But it just, yeah, the whole thing that like this is that like Matt is like a fucking king debate bro around his like parents and other family members, like that's just not true. Like that's not the case.
Yeah, it's rough. He writes, Enrique writes, he literally said that when the family brings up topic X, he'd chime in now where he didn't before. Just blew past the space between their ears. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Darth and all of his minions have a cinder block where their brain is supposed to be.
Like this one. Tone Look, how can you demonstrate that you even received a birthday card or know anything? Is that a birthday card in your hand? Are you even wearing a shirt right now? Yeah.
But you know, he thinks it's because he's so smart. Everybody stops because he's so smart and they can't defeat him. That's why he thinks they stop.
And I think honestly, he deserves our honest compassion.
He has to lose his grandeur.
Yeah, dude, he's really
He's undecided.
Well, he just sold to, Satanism, humanism long ago, so somehow.
I mean, you don't get any more Johnny Kruger than that guy.
I mean, you see his dedication for...
I don't get, what does Dunning-Kruger have to do with somebody talking about their experience with their own family members?
Yep.
I don't know why Antonio even mentioned that. That's a weirder reference than any of the pop cultural reference attempts that Darth made.
Yeah, but look, if we're expecting any sort of like logic and or consistency out of these guys, I think we're going to be waiting a little while. So
yeah, it's true. That's true. Good point.
16 years, he tries to find out the truth.
No, that's bull. He's out there to basically dog Christianity. That's what it is.
Well, I want to ask everyone in here, okay? Most of you are acquainted with me. If he were to come in here and we were to appoint somebody who would be a strict and neutral moderator so that nobody could verbally bulldoze either one, how long do you think he would last if I was allowed to ask him questions?
5 minutes. I think he'd refuse. Yeah, he'd refuse to answer.
Yeah, he thinks he's real slick because he controls the microphone, can rabbit trail at any time, and then when he selects certain formal interactions, he can monologue his way out.
Yeah, some steep projection there. I think it's funny too. He's like, well, how long would he put up with that? It's like, look, Darth, you don't seem to understand. If somebody were just allowing you to ask the questions that you ask in your interrogation, and then the person is allowed to answer generally only with yes and no, then, and you think that that's a fair exchange, you automatically get more time to talk, and that person isn't allowed to actually elaborate on any of their answers. And when they attempt to assert that, you throw a fit and you take it straight to the mod. The reason nobody will mod for this ding dong anymore is because he abuses them almost as much as he abuses his interlocutor.
Yeah, but I genuinely think that like it's just kind of odd that it wasn't flipped in the sense of if Matt was able to go into the room, and if there was somebody else who was able, everything what like he just said, like a strict and neutral moderator, if like fuck it, even somebody that like Darth himself picked, and Matt was allowed to ask him questions, how long do we think that he would last before he rage quit and said that the moderator that he picked was biased and was unfair, etc., 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 all the like fucking general bitching and whining that he does all the time.
Exactly. And like the tiny clip that there is of me on Tom Rabbit's channel, he comes into my stream. I think he's there for maybe 6 minutes. And in the interest of fairness, most of the video is him complaining about me in the interaction to his minions back at the Legion of Doom, as Tom puts it. And he's bitching about how I treated him. It's like, look, I told him specifically, like, you came in here when I was ready to wrap up, and you're not going to overtalk me, and I don't want to listen to you talk about your fucking feelings. I want you to stick to ideas. And he'd start getting right back into the meta, and I'd mute him like, no, this is how it's going to work. And he quit. He pussied out. He just fled. So it's like, look, if you want to, you can run back to your friendly audience and tell them that you just can't get any respect or fair treatment anywhere. But he doesn't even have the beginning of he doesn't even seem to comprehend what fairness is. Fairness is he gets to say everything that he wants and no one interrupts him, and he better not ever have to deal with any questions he doesn't get. Like, it's just I'm going to lay this out and you will accept it. kneel before Zod kind of crap, you know?
Yeah. But yeah,
terrible.
Look, just the incredible amount of projection that like comes from. I'm not daily fucking like pick like do one of those things where you have like all of Tom Rabbit's videos just up right on a page that you can just scroll down. Literally close your eyes, scroll for as long as you fucking want, pick any video at random, and there will be an incredible amount of projection from Darth. Just like all the time. The fact that he constantly says that he insists on knowing the age of the people that he's talking to, which is a little bit creepy in and of itself. And you know, then the fact that like he will say, "Oh, that like you're like acting like a teenager, dude. You're literally having a fucking hissy fit, a bitch fit." At just somebody online. Are you really in a position to talk about somebody else having, as he would put it, a hemorrhoidal attack? Like, really? Are you really in that position?
Yeah, and it's I can't say that it's sad because it's by his design. He's been like he said, he's been doing this for 10 years, and like that's what he's found is that Discord works for him because he can get in there, he can find people that are sympathetic to how he wants to run stuff. He attracts a crowd, not you know, like how did he put it? He's like, you know what, I'm popular. It's like it's not so much like that. It's like when people see like a really, you know, I mean, he's popular like a pimple popping videos might be, you know. It's like it's like look, you attract a certain amount of there's morbid curiosity about you, but you're definitely not well liked. And I'm hearing more and more, especially from some of the Catholics that haunt politics and religion, they can't stand him.
No, yeah, 100%.
And he still can't reconcile.
I had somebody that I used to work with, who was a born again Christian. She was a genuinely, and I mean like 100%. I've said this to her face, and I'll say it now. Like genuinely one of the nicest people that I know. Like just 100%, right? Her religion had nothing to do with anything else. We've talked about it like from time to time, haven't in like a while. But she was appalled at the behavior that Maddox gave in one of the debates that I had against him on MDD. This was a couple of years ago now. But she was appalled by his behavior. I purposefully haven't, you know, pointed her in the direction of any of the Darth videos, but like it's not to kind of like spare her feelings or anything else like that. It's just that, like, you know, if she thought that Maddox was bad, and he is bad, but Darth is just, you know, whole nother level.
So yeah, you still might be in the minor leagues with LPP.
Yeah. Which look, I have a personal kind of hatred for Maddox because this is kind of getting into a little bit of drama, and you know, we'll like kind of wrap it up after that because I have to fucking get to bed anyway. But I have a personal beef with Maddox because live on MDD, and like it's not so much towards James. I realized that he was kind of running up the like clock we were running at a time, and it was during Q&A as well. Maddox ridiculed me for mourning the loss of my dead daughter, and James didn't give me the kind of opportunity. Like, again, I don't hold any kind of ill will specifically against James. I understand the position that he was in, but like, so like, okay, basically the background of it was, in a previous debate we were talking about abortion. This was in late July. She would have been born in late July, so this was like, you know, like it was obviously like a very emotional time for me. The topic of abortion came up. I got pretty emotional on stream. He found that absolutely hilarious, and then he brought it up in a second debate where he was like, oh, like, do I have to make you, like, you know, like cry again, bitch boy, or something like that? And I was just kind of like, I was going to kind of say something like, yeah, you know, like, big man fucking ridiculing me for lots of, you know, but I didn't get the opportunity to. Basically, That is the reason why I fucking hate Maddox and why I will never talk to him again.
That's understandable. That is an absolutely shitty thing for him to do.
Look, I know that if Maddox just by chance was to watch this video, right, that like he would be like a seething little ball of rage at the fact that I have just said what I've said, and he would say, oh no dude, like that's not fair, and like I didn't know that, like, you know, situation, I didn't know that background. And it's like, yeah, it's like I actually agree with hypothetical Maddox there, because yeah, it's not fair for me to kind of say that, but it also was not fair for him to ridicule me under circumstances he didn't even fucking know. He didn't know why the hell I was getting emotional at that. So the fact that he did and he chose to, fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing too, because you don't have to be a believer to think like this is the part that I think is the most poisonous to these guys' minds. If they listen to somebody like Darth Dawkins, and Darth is constantly repeating over and over all day every day that atheists are liars and they're deceitful and they're fakes and phonies and frauds and they'll lie to you and they'll cheat and all this kind of stuff, it gets easier and easier for these younger guys to come in here, and by younger I mean just guys in their you know between 50 and 25. For them to start running with these conceptions, like what I'm sure in the moment that when Maddox was doing this, part of what he what was justifying that behavior for him is that you're an atheist, so therefore most of that was probably fake. And if it's not fake, it's okay because you don't have the same feelings a Christian does, because you don't have real morals.
Yeah.
Because I know he buys into some of that bullshit too. So it's like, okay, when somebody then turns around and points out to somebody like John Maddox, like, okay, certain aspects of your faith have made you a moral monster. They have made you a worse person because of the things that you can excuse and justify that you wouldn't have done so anyway, just based on interpersonal relationships, how you should probably be polite to other people and at least give them the benefit of the doubt. And the fact that they just brushed that aside, like, it's none of my concern anymore. Like, motherfucker, shouldn't it be? You're the one saying that you have the patent on the golden rule. And yet you're so fucking bad at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I'm done having my rant against Maddox. Anyway, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's shitty. I didn't know about that. That's really fucking terrible.
Well, yeah. No, look, I didn't like bring it up so that like I can see both of the chats. I have both of the chats as like a pop-out window on like one of my monitors. Like I can see that there's like a few people who are like, oh my god, like that's so shitty. Look, I'm not doing it for like clout or for sympathy or for anything else. It's
no, I get that.
Yeah, that's just one of the fucking reasons why I'll never talk to that dickhead again, and why I would encourage anybody else not to either.
I don't think you're alone in that. I think that company is growing. Well, folks, I guess we will wrap this up at this point. We've been on, and I know Steven's got to get to bed because it's super late where he is.
Yeah, it's almost 2:00 in the morning here. So
yeah, definitely time to wrap it up. So thanks everybody in the chat for joining. Thanks for your comments and everything. Thank you in advance for any comments that you post afterward, and any likes or dislikes if you happen to dislike it. In the description, Steven's YouTube channel link is in there for Cider and Port. Go check that out. And then below that, if you want to catch the original video, the Tom Rabbit, the link's in that as well. Other than that, I'm all set. Steven, you want to have the last word?
Yeah, just a massive thank you for everybody who turned up, everybody who has been commenting along. I got some genuine laughs out of both of the live chats, so thank you so much for that. As per usual, I have no idea where I will be or like when I will be streaming again, but soon enough anyway. If my schedule will allow it. So just massive thank you to everybody who showed up again, and we shall talk to you all soon.
All right, and with that, we will be getting out of here. So good night, everyone. Take care of yourselves. See you later.